Hey everybody, what's up? My name is George. I'm from the Bang Bang Armadillo Gang. Everybody, I typically stream Nintendo Switch games, but I also stream PS4 games and PC games. I like to play with the community that I have so far, and yeah, I just like to play games and have fun.
Let's see. I've been working in the game industry for over, God, 5 years. I did game testing, quality assurance, game master, recruiting. Worked directly with a bunch of video game companies, and now I'm doing a YouTube channel. And much to my wife's chagrin, I am loving every second of it and having a blast with covering topics and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah. Well, hell, so did you, man. You've been doing great.
Hi guys, I'm Mama Mercy. For everybody who don't know me, I am another YouTube streamer. I play indie games. I guess that's kind of where my channel's going right now, and I play with all of my munchkins. And for all my munchkins in the stream, hi, I'm not dead. I promise. I'm gonna start streaming again. I promise.
Something just came up.
Hey, what's up? So if anybody has not seen my channel, obviously Avidan already said it. I'm from a channel called Rax the Great. I do different kind of comedy skits, which I really need to get back to. For the past month or so, I feel like I've been a little MIA, but we're getting back into the swing of things. So if you like everything gaming, make sure to come check out my channel.
I mean, for me personally, I don't know how much I can add to talking about Monster Hunter. I've played only the Monster Hunter on the 3DS and loved it. I tried my hand at the Wii U Monster Hunter. I think it was Monster Hunter 3, and it felt too similar for me to really fall in love with the series. I know people are saying Monster Hunter World is like the best game ever, but the problem I have with the series, I like Final Fantasies because it's a
Time out. Hold on one real second. There are people in the chat saying they can't hear Avidan.
Yeah, I just fixed that. I just saw them in the chat somehow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted Avidan to know.
That's no, you're good. That's vital.
Yeah, I mean, they thankfully Smash just started talking about Monster Hunter, and I have that as a thumbnail, so we're not totally off course.
All right, we're good now. Everyone can hear.
We're good. But let me just ask the question again so the chat can hear it too, because I want them to interact with each other.
Yeah.
But my question to Smash was, and the whole entire panel was, since Capcom is talking about making a new Monster Hunter game, and we all knew it wasn't going to run on the Switch. They basically said it's not going to run on the Switch. There's talks about another game other than Generations that's coming to the Switch in August that's coming to the system. So my question to Smash in the panel is this new game going to be like World, or is it going to be an even better Generations game?
And I was saying, I don't know and I don't care unless they completely shift the formula up. Like, Monster Hunter to me is the same formula every time, where you have a base camp, you go out, hunt monsters, get these items, and come back to the base camp and craft things, and then go fight bigger monsters, and et cetera, until you get further into the game. And yeah, you could say that about any RPG, but I feel like the storyline in Monster Hunter, especially the one I played, was extremely lacking, and I feel like that really detracted a lot from my enjoyment from it. If they are able to make a new Monster Hunter on the Switch and actually take it in a completely different direction, I'm talking like Final Fantasy 7 to Final Fantasy 8 type thing, where it's like totally different story, totally different characters, and actually have a fleshed out story to make you want to keep playing to the end, then I might be interested in it. But as far as how I look at Monster Hunter right now, to me they're all very similar, and you played one, you played them all.
I kind of agree with him on that pretty much. Like, I feel like it's going to go along the lines of like what the 3DS games are, just because of the system, capacity that the Switch has. Obviously the graphics are going to be better than a 3DS title, but in terms of the gameplay itself, I feel like it's definitely going to be along the same lines of like, what Monster Hunter 4 was on the 3DS. You know what I mean?
100%. How about you, George? What do you think about this?
I kind of agree with Smash and Rex. Rex. Monster Hunter has always been the same, and Capcom promising a new Monster Hunter game for the Switch. That's all well and good, and even if it was the same, I think it would still sell. Obviously millions of copies on the Switch.
Absolutely,
it would do very well. It's something that a lot of people have been asking for, even if they didn't change it. They wouldn't get a lot of new fans, obviously, just because, people who've played Monster Hunter have already made up their minds about it. But I think it would still help, even if it was still the same. Like, let's just say it was like Generations. I still think it would be a huge help for the Switch, in my opinion.
All right, cool. Real fast, we're getting to Mama Mercy. Shout out to Optimus Ponder. Thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate you. Didn't want to think I missed that subscribe. And Mama Mercy.
He's a good dude. I know Optimus Ponder. He's a good dude.
Oh, okay, cool. Appreciate the sub. And Mama Mercy, what are your thoughts about this?
I would like to see something like Stories. I liked Stories. I thought it was fun and cute.
I never played it.
That's the girl in me. Hi, welcome everybody. I don't know, but I also kind of have some hopes with the fact that they're doing the crossover with Final Fantasy 14, Online.
Right.
14, okay. Like, I'm not sure which one's online anymore. That maybe we could get some kind of actual like story, that it's not just, hey, kill monsters, make armor, make weapons, kill monsters, make armor, make weapons. But I mean, it is a really like teen and adult kind of like multiplayer game, so it's gonna sell well either way. But maybe like some story elements would actually be nice. Maybe build out your base mart, or like maybe you and your friends can build a town and help out like people who work in your town and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Monster Hunter.
No, I totally get it. It's like the fact that you mentioned Final Fantasy 14 is kind of big, because there's still talks of that game coming to the Switch as well. So you're not totally far off with that crossover. But as for me, I can't see it here, but I still have my Wii U with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on here. So I'm somebody who would appreciate another Monster Hunter game, but I could definitely agree with what George, Rax, and Smash said, that this game is extremely niche based, and they cater to that niche a lot. There are some people...
It's a big niche. It's a huge niche.
It is.
Yeah.
Because there are people...
if Monster Hunter really wants to break through, what they need to do is they need to have a pet system, and you can go catch one of those mofos and take it out with you. That will sell games, because everybody likes having a monster pet.
But I don't know if Capcom wants... I mean, obviously Capcom would love for Monster Hunter to sell more, but I don't know if that's their thinking right now. Like, I don't think they think that Monster Hunter is in a position to need to have like a breakout type of thing. You know what I mean?
Well, that was
like
Monster Hunter.
Oh, go ahead.
That was Monster Hunter World. I think that took Capcom by surprise. I don't think they expected that to do as well as it did.
I don't think anyone did.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I don't think anyone did. But
I have a real quick question. World is different, like game mechanic wise, than regular Monster Hunter, correct?
Yeah, it is. Everything is The difference between World and the other games, the game is streamlines a lot of what the other games didn't. Like, there's more like little things you have to do. World just streamlines everything and makes the game so totally seamless. There's no loading screens. It's just a lot easier for the Western gamers to play.
But here's
it's more casual, right?
Yeah, way more casual.
Here's the problem I have with it is it's focused hardcore on multiplayer. It's focused
and
on
I don't like that
rating.
at all.
Exactly. Same with me. I mean, I got kids. I can't do online gaming for my life. I need a pause button. And if I gotta do an online game and if I gotta play with other people, first off, you got to dedicate a significant amount of time. You got to coordinate with people on what you're doing, and you have to sacrifice story because there is no good video game out there that has a solid multiplayer aspect where everyone plays together and it has an engaging story. You have to sacrifice the story at that end for an online multiplayer, and that's the problem I have with Monster Hunter. Is sure, it's a hell of a lot of fun if you meet all the criteria to fall into that niche category of people who have that time, who don't need the pause button, who have friends that play it. I'm sure it's the best game in the world. But outside of that, you got to have that storyline. You got to have the focus. You got to have something to have a reason to come back to it.
And that's where Generations, why some people actually prefer Generations over World. World, it gets boring playing the same missions over and over again with your friends. Whereas in the Generations games, they have what they call G rank, where the monsters, they do different attack patterns, new moves. So what keeps people coming back is the challenge, and that's where the niche of Monster Hunter really stems forth from, the challenge of it all as you progress further in the game.
So do you think that that's the reason why they might make the new Monster Hunter on Switch more like Generations, so that people can have that challenge, that difficulty?
Absolutely so, because World, some people would have preferred World, but there are more and more people who have criticisms when they play Generations. I've heard even people liking the hitboxes better on Generations than they do on World. So there's other mechanic issues that Generations has over World, and World is graphically light years ahead of Generations. So, but yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that because
they need a story mode, is what they need.
Oh yeah,
I think that
they need a way. They need to make it fun for playing by yourself, because like that was my problem. That's why I've never really gotten into Monster Hunter.
I get it.
I am a mom. I don't have up until I got in the Discord, I didn't really have a lot of like friends I played online with outside of like Overwatch, and those were because they're people I met on Overwatch.
Gotcha.
So, and Monster Hunter is really hard to play by yourself. Like, it is really, really frustrating to play by yourself.
Can I just piggyback on that? That's my same exact concern for a completely separate topic, which is the new Fallout 76, where it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same problem. It's going to be online multiplayer. It's going to have to lack the storyline for it. It's going to fall into the same trap. And that's from someone who's worked in the game industry and in the design process of a game. You have to make a sacrifice at that junction where do we go online with coordinating with multiplayer, or do we focus single player experience campaign based? And I feel like I said, transitioning to a completely different story that's not even on the topic, but that's my concern with Fallout 76 is they say there's going to be a single player experience to it, but we all know that you cannot, that's impossible to balance those two things. I say that before it's even out. You cannot, you got to pick one or the other. You can't pick a storyline unless you're making the game completely storyline focused and sacrificing the action pace of a multiplayer brawler.
I get what you're saying.
Well, my argument with like Fallout 76, and I give credit to Bethesda, and considering who they're working with the game, I mean, World of Warcraft has massive amounts of lore, and that's an MMO. Like, I just got back into World of Warcraft with my husband and my brother, and they're giving me all this lore stuff, and I was like, guys, you need to stop. I'm getting a headache because I'm taking in way too much information for what's about to go on, because a new expansion's about to come out, and they're like trying to catch me up on 15 years of lore in like a couple of hours.
But that's a whole other thing is lore it's the same problem I had with God of War. This is God, we are off the rails right now. Same problem I had with God of War with all the lore, and it was incredible. What a great experience. But I don't have the time in my life right now to dedicate to researching and reading lore. I need it spoon-fed to me to encourage the progression of the storyline. And God of War did a great job spoon feeding the story, but there was a ton of lore that I could have researched that I just didn't have the time for. And that's what World of Warcraft does, where you need to research the lore if you want the story. They don't spoon feed it to you.
Or just hours or hours of playtime. That's what my brother and my husband
That
have.
too.
Overwatch is the same way too.
Wow. So they've played through all the races, all the quests. They're like, we know. If there's something you need to ask us, we know.
Yeah.
They're talking about characters I've never even heard of. I'm like, I don't. I'm like, all right, catch me up on this. But I mean, I don't know. But like, if you look at Fallout 4 was a really good story game. But I would have loved to run around with that game with my husband. It was such a big world, and how many, like, all the enemies and stuff in there. I don't feel like it would have been really hard to have my husband pop in the game and the two of us go out and fight things in the wasteland.
Okay.
I feel like Fallout's one of those weird games that it might be okay because it's dystopian and we're just gonna go build shit.
Yeah.
Mama Mercy?
Oh, sorry. Build stuff.
Oh, man. By the way, G5 says Fallout 4 is trash. That's you,
Fallout
Mama.
4.
Fallout 4 in VR is a lot of fun.
Fallout 4 was the first Fallout.
Throw that out there.
Interested me enough to get into the game.
Yeah, I think Fallout 4 was like the first Fallout for a lot of people. Really, it was an entry game to the series, to be honest. And I think a lot of people who say that Fallout 4 wasn't good are like, I think the people who enjoy the older games, really. But I had a blast with it. Fallout 4 was really good in my opinion.
G5 is a Fallout New Vegas
Yeah, he is.
Oh.
lover.
Yeah.
Oh. Well then, I have no idea.
Yeah.
What either games
Sorry,
are.
Avidan.
Because I don't play Fallout. I need to
I
get
don't
into
play
it.
Fallout either. I tried New Vegas and I just couldn't get into it. I really wanted to. I tried Fallout 4 when Xbox had that error where it was free and I downloaded it.
Yeah.
And I tried playing that. I couldn't get into it. And then they deleted it from my console without my authority because apparently they're able to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Fallout is just one of those titles that is just like so hit or miss with people. Like some people love it, some people hate it, and I never really find anybody that's like, it was alright. You know what I mean? Like it's really like that extreme. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I
I
need
could
to try it
never
out.
give it enough time to find out. So I'm like in the middle, but because I didn't play it enough, not because I have a reason.
I think it's
That's
because it's
how
so
I am.
layered.
I don't have the time. It's like my
Yeah,
back-
that's
the
I
big
never
thing.
finished Fallout 4 because
I
I
don't
didn't
have
have
the
the
time. I don't have the time for anything made by Bethesda. If it's made by Bethesda, I'm like, okay, that's in the backlog of if there's a heaven or purgatory.
Not even
I'll
Doom?
I'll play that in the afterlife. No, I haven't played Doom either. I just
Jesus.
if it's got Bethesda in the name, I can't play it. I just know that going into it.
That's gonna steal all the hours of my life.
Exactly.
Children. That's why I like my husband's like, you gotta get into Skyrim. I'm like, I will never get into Skyrim. He's
Oh,
like, why? I'm
Jesus.
like, we have children.
Yep.
Somebody has to be here to feed them. Like,
That's like a minimum of like 200 hours. Jeez.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm like,
played-
I will let you play Skyrim, and I will take care of our kids. Like, that's the deal that's gonna go on right now.
I played Oblivion for like 35 hours, and I was like, it's okay. Like, it reminded me of if you played Kingsfield. It reminded me of Kingsfield on the PS1, but I like Kingsfield better because it was smaller and more focused, and I could actually figure out what the hell was going on. I feel like that just sometimes the game is just too big.
Right.
Right. But I want to jump into the next topic because we're having
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. This is
went all over the
good.
place.
This is good.
When gamers get together.
We're
Yeah,
having,
right.
we're
Went
having
through,
fun.
like 6 other topics. Sorry.
We're having fun. I want us to have even more fun with these next topics. So
Right.
EA, everybody, let's just sour the mood a little
favorite
bit.
company.
Let's just sour everyone's mood real fast. Talk about EA for a second. So EA wants to blame Zelda Breath of the Wild for the lack of success of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Ha!
Yeah.
Avidan, I want to let you know that when you sent me what we were going to be talking about today, I had to read that one like 4 times because I was like, I cannot.
Mama,
Maybe,
you're
my
not
brain did
alone.
maybe you
not.
typed it wrong. Like maybe.
I did not want to believe what I was reading at all.
I literally did the same exact thing. I read it like 3 times. I was like, what?
This happened?
I saw it earlier online, and I was just like laughing. I was like, "This can't be a real thing."
Yeah.
I was like, EA, are you that desperate?
Dude, they're that thirsty. They're that thirsty.
Jesus.
Well, here's the thing: if you got investors, you need to give them reasons. And it doesn't matter if they're real or fake. You just gotta say shit. You guys
Yeah, but like, I'm sorry, if you're investing in a video game company, you should be able to tell that one is complete and utter garbage.
I don't know, man. Investors are pretty dumb. They're pretty dumb. They probably.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing I've learned with investors, because I followed the video game investment field a long time. I've invested in video game companies. I've made money. I've lost money.
Mm-hmm.
They are dumb, but they are also way ahead of what people think that they know oftentimes. And I got to give them credit. Like I was like, why is Nintendo, when the Switch came out, like at its peak with the Wii, it was like $80, and it fell with the Wii U. It fell to like $12. And then when the Switch came out, it made it to like 20, 22, 23, 24. And I'm like, oh my God, this is better than the Wii. It should be more than $80. It should be like $90 or $100 right now, based off of how good this system is.
100%.
And it's only gone up to, at this point, 40.
40, yeah.
Well, and now it's falling back down. And I'm like, why is it falling back down? And I had to research it, and they are concerned about Nintendo's online. They're concerned about if it's even going to be feasible, because they've never proven anything to anybody, and they have legit concerns about it. And I'm like, oh, hell, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point, because yeah, the Switch is great, but the things that they're venturing into, there's proof. There's investors, analyzers that are looking at this and saying, we have proof saying this is how much money Nintendo has spent on their infrastructure. It is pennies compared to what Sony and Microsoft have spent still. So how is it supposed to compete with Sony and Microsoft?
But like, how much Nintendo, like comparing how much Nintendo spends and how much Sony and Microsoft spend, is that based off of when they first started their networks, or now?
No. It's based off of now, like what they're spending.
That's not a really fair comparison, because they've had
Nintendo
their
never spent the money, so they got to spend almost triple to catch up, and they're spending pennies.
It's gonna be a while before they catch up, though. I think that's what people need.
That's why investors are scared, because they're not spending the money to catch up faster.
Yeah,
that's why they're scared.
But yeah, but if they do it too fast and that catches on fire, they're gonna have a hell of a time putting out a fire. Yeah. I don't know about like the investor side of it, but my husband actually works with servers. You want to do that process at the right pace. You obviously want to go fast enough to be able to support your people, but if you do it too fast and something blows up, those things will literally catch on fire.
But you know, Nintendo is scared to jump into online. You know they are. They always have been.
They're already having problems with people hacking their stuff. I was reading today on inappropriate pictures in the balloons in Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, we're touching that tonight.
Oh, are we? Oh, I'm sorry.
We are. You're good. You're good. We're gonna touch on that tonight. We're gonna touch on that more tonight, because I read it. I was like,
yeah.
But like, these are the things that like Nintendo was already worried about. This is why they were like hesitant to ever start online and stuff like that, because they are predominantly, as much. I know I'm gonna set the comments on fire. Yes, we are all adults and we all love our Nintendo, but Nintendo is aimed at a kid to teenage audience. That is what Nintendo has always. Yes, they're being a little bit more adult driven with the Switch. That's why we're getting things like Doom and Gungal 2 and Neko something. That I know that game, for instance, is a very adult game, but they still have their kid demographic, and they know that they're a company that parents trust. And PlayStation and Xbox have had their fair share of things that have happened. That
she said share. She said share.
Wasn't me.
She said share.
With their online program, and the kids have not been saved, and kids have been attacked. And you have things like Roblox where kids aren't safe, and that game is meant for children.
Look at Club Penguin.
Club Penguin, like these are things that were like, hey, here's something cute and safe for your fun, for your kids to get onto, and predators are getting on there attacking their children. And this is what Nintendo has always been hesitant about with going to online. It's I mean, like, Nintendo's a company, but they've always been like, we know that our network is for kids and we want to protect children.
I would even take it further to say Nintendo is kid friendly.
Kid friendly, okay, that's better.
Because I would say this: you hand little Jimmy a Breath of the Wild, 5 years old. What's he gonna do with that? It's like, I feel like Nintendo makes games for kids as well, but they make games for adults like ourselves who have kids.
Hey, my 5 and 9-year-old can play Breath of the Wild. Not well, but they can.
I think you got to
pick up a branch.
You got to take a step back to the actual infrastructure of the system.
Hold up, we just received a donation.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Donation high?
We just received I just heard the noise. Black Cat, thanks for the donation of $4.20. Hi everyone. Nintendo Online at the moment is okay. It could be better. Hopefully it will be. And All Might.
All Might.
I know the reference. That's why I did it like that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Black Cat. Appreciate the donation.
Thank you, Black Cat.
My bad, Smash JT. What were you saying?
No, you're fine. That's anytime you need a break for that, please go ahead. So I was saying the ease of access to the system, something that is so overlooked, because I used to work at Qualcomm with engineers daily.
Wow.
I was a tech writer.
Wow.
And I don't know a damn thing about the phones I was working on, but I would write the documents for these guys. And the problem I see with the actual infrastructures of the current consoles is they are made for adults. And then you look at the Nintendo Switch, and speaking personally, I got a almost 3-year-old and a kid that just turned 5, and they are able to walk over to it, pick it up, and prep play. Like, try figuring out turning on the TV, what input should it go on, picking up the controller, turning on the controller, figuring out how to cycle through to a game, picking the game, pressing the right button, loading it up, waiting for an update if it's necessary, going to the next. It's like Nintendo is just like play. Like, that's why it's so great for everybody, which has literally nothing to do with what we're supposed to be talking
I know, like.
By the way,
I'm somehow.
just want to say the odds forever be in your favor for having a 3 and a 5-year-old.
Listen, at this point, I don't even. This is off the rails.
We didn't even really comment on EA.
Hey, I do want to go back to EA and their questionable.
Go back to it.
At this point, we're having too much fun. Yeah, EA. So I'll get my thoughts on this first.
But Avidan, do you know what they actually said? Like, what they legitimately said about Zelda being the cause of Andromeda failing? Like, do you know the actual reason?
Honestly,
enlighten us, George.
The real reason is because nobody likes EA.
Right.
That's the real reason.
I mean,
is that what it said?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, anytime an EA game comes out, I'm like, the same way I look at Bethesda. I'm like, too much time. EA, they probably squeeze microtransactions. Why am I going to bother with it? Like, that's my mindset. Change my mind.
Change my mind.
I don't know if Anthem's going to change my mind either. I don't know if Anthem's going to change my mind.
Destiny 2.5?
Well, basically, this is what they said. They said that I think it came out in a really, really busy window in March. Perhaps the busiest window in the history of gaming, where 5 RPGs released in the same month. It came out in the same month as Zelda. So they're blaming the actual release date.
But they're specifically calling out Zelda. They're not calling out like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Those other RPGs. Those are, yeah, exactly.
But I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn technically came out in February. If I'm not mistaken. But here's the thing. Here's my problem.
Really? Are we gonna get technicalities a few days?
Yes, we are.
I don't know what else came out that month, but I know that like Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda like high-fived each other as they were coming to the market. Like, I know it was that close.
But one of the things that I would say when it comes down to EA trying to blame them for Mass Effect and Andromeda, first of all, they're 2 totally different games. So
On two totally different systems.
Oh, exactly. Two totally different systems. So
Well, I have a question.
And one was just coming out, literally.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Quick question. How come Sony didn't blame Destiny 2, sorry. Horizon Zero Dawn's failing sales on Zelda? Because it was a good game and it didn't have failing sales.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. They had good sales. In fact, it was actually for a while evenly matched for a little bit with Zelda. It's
so
just
that's why I call BS on EA on that. It's like, just make a good game and be a good company. And make a new company, put it under the EA umbrella. Don't tell people that EA is the owner of that company, and then sell it.
The problem with EA, the main problem with EA is they showed a different game than they showed at E3. And this is another reason why I don't put too much stock into E3. Because what you see may not be what you get. It's false advertisement, to say the least. So anyone in business knows when you falsely advertise a product and then you reveal the product to be something different close to the release date, you sever the trust of the consumer.
Well, I don't know if it's false advertisement. I mean, because there's development changes that happen in video games all the time. I mean, if you look at when Zelda was first revealed,
it was playing, but when Zelda was first revealed, it was playing on a Wii U. They showed it. They showed that they were playing the game on a Wii U. I'm gonna break the illusion for E3 for all of you guys and who are watching this right now. Most of the trailers you see and the gameplay you see are either trailers done on a computer or played on a computer. Unless you and even sometimes when you see them come out with the system and a controller and play the game, they're still playing it on a computer.
Yeah, I know about that. It's just that I'm just talking about like the changes that you see between the reveal and the release. You know what I mean? Like it does happen. It's like I don't think it's like false advertising. It's just
the only difference I'll say I reason why it's false advertisement because they actually show gameplay at E3 at that last E3. And the gameplay, I can understand when you polish things up because they did the same thing for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It was different towards the end of the year, but it was better. It didn't go back. So it's
not supposed to regress.
Where you go back, it's like, wait a second. What happened to this? It looked better months ago. Why does it look like this? And then we find out a whole bunch of internal stuff that happened with E3. That's where I say E3, EA. That's why people lost their trust. But Rax, I want to hear your thoughts on this, man.
Yeah, Rax has been really quiet.
Yeah, Rax, you there, man?
Yeah, I don't really have many thoughts on this. That's why I've been
It's all good.
So you want to hear my thoughts about what I think about EA blaming Zelda? Well, for starters, I think that, like you said before, they're two completely different games. I think maybe their mindset was the hype that was built up around the Switch and Zelda, because you got to remember the console was in such a highly sought after thing. You're buying a console and a game. I think their whole mentality was, oh, well, if people are buying a console and a game at the same time, maybe they don't have money to buy our game, which nobody really wanted your game because it just didn't look up to par to the previous installments of the series. You know what I mean? I feel like they dropped quality in certain areas where people expected things to be a solid standpoint and a staple of the series, which they just kind of missed it by a long shot, in my opinion. I think they went a little too 100%. Action shooter and more people want that for like that RPG element. I think they just kind of switched up too much and lost the interest of people, which drove them to look for other outlets, which you know what I mean? I guess it kind of makes sense that people would want to try and find things like Horizon Zero Dawn or Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? Breath of the Wild seemed like such a big deal. You know what I mean?
Hey, yeah.
You hit on a really good point right there, Rax. Is the fourth one of the series, right?
Yeah, it's a fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth. Okay, so the other problem you have with
after that try.
No, not even.
Like what's down
it could be the best game ever. But the problem is with sequels is you run into the problem of it makes it more niche every time you make a game. unless it's like God of War, which basically reinvigorates and remakes it from the ground up, you're gonna lose audience as it goes because nobody's played the other 3. And the problem with Mass Effect is those games are just like Elder Scrolls, where they're just like 60+ hour games just to get to the end of them. And I didn't
soundtracks.
I didn't play the first 3. So why would I pick up the 4th one when the first 3, not only did I not play them, but the first 3 are on clearance for like $5 each, and they're all like critically acclaimed great games? Why would I play the new one instead of just pick up a cheap bargain bin one and play that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could be like some part of a generational gap too, because like the PS4, like think about it like this. So the PS4 and Xbox have been having these like remastered games come out, and their reasoning behind it is like, oh well, some people haven't played these games, and when you look at the sales of like Uncharted collection and things like that, you know, their sales of these games kind of prove that they're right. You know what I mean? Like, so people will probably of a new generation getting a new console. Like these are kids that were like maybe in like elementary school going into middle school, probably had no interest in Mass Effect 1 through 3. Now they're in middle school or around more mature titles. Now you've got Andromeda, but what do they like? Oh, I've never played any of the first 3. Like you were saying, Smash, like why do I want to, you know, buy this? And I feel like their marketing on Andromeda was trash.
It was terrible.
Like, I feel like they did a terrible job of marketing that game.
It was Wii U level epic.
Yeah. I don't even remember their marketing, to be honest.
All I remember from the marketing. All I remember from the marketing was the poor PR it was getting from YouTubers saying how bad the facial animations were. Like that's all I remember from it.
It's like they went to like claymation or something, man.
Yeah.
Guys, real fast. Hold on, Mama. I want to give another shout out to Black Cat, who donated again, $4.20. Said, "Mama just broke my reality. Now I don't know what's real anymore. Rest in peace."
Rest in peace.
Sorry, Black Cat.
Sorry, Black Cat.
But go ahead,
I'm not
Mama.
saying every company does it, and I'm not saying every trailer you do, but I believe they did prove with EA that they've done that multiple times.
Right.
Where their gameplay and their trailers are all done on the computer. And Andromeda was a big proof of that.
Big proof.
And Rex brought up a really good point before you move on to the next thing, or Mama, before you say anything. Rex brought up a great point about the remakes and rehashes, and it's not just Sony and Microsoft. I mean, Nintendo on the Switch is probably Exhibit A for re-releases right now and rehashes. And it makes you wonder as we as we get older and as time passes and this influx of great games keep coming out every year. And as time passes, 10, 15, 20 years from now, great games will still exist. They'll still keep rehashing them on top of the retro games from 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Will we get to a point, and this is completely off the rails, but will we get on to a point where there's no need to keep making new games because there's no possible physical way somebody could play all these great games in their lifetime, never mind have a new game come out afterwards?
No, because people are going to keep being creative. That's the same thing with like movies and books.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying they're not going to keep being creative, but people were creative in the past. What makes that worse?
Well, one thing I want to add to that. One thing I want to add to what you said, Smash. The reason why I don't necessarily put Nintendo so much in the same bracket with the re-releases, especially with their Wii U games. The Wii U only had 13.5 million units sold in the span of 5 years. The Switch outshined that in under a year. So,
but they're still doing it though. They're still making the re-release.
But it's not the same. It's not the same situation though.
It's not the same as looking.
No, it is the same because people didn't play the games. People didn't play them early on the PlayStation. They didn't play them early on the Wii U. It's the same thing. They haven't played the games. Now they have a chance to play them. That's my point.
I mean, he's got a point. Like, Skits wants to go get Last of Us 1 because Last of Us 2 is coming out. We didn't play Last of Us because we had small children.
Right.
Like we didn't have the time. We were sleep deprived and like barely knew our names some days with small children. So
I know that feeling.
Yeah. So there were games we missed of the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation because we had small children to take care of. And like with Nintendo, why it works for them is because we all grew up with Nintendo. Yeah. And anybody here who has kids knows that they get excited when they see an HD remaster of a game that they played as a kid. Now that they have kids, they're like, let me sit down and share something with you with my childhood.
I did the same.
I just want to play Fortnite.
Listen,
Fortnite.
as soon as
It depends on how
Fortnite
you
on
raise
Switch,
your kid.
baby.
My kids don't have
I want to
Fortnite.
play this. I just want to play Fortnite.
I want to play
There's
Fortnite.
my kids have
Fortnite
never
allowed in
played
this house.
listen,
My kids have never played
as
Fortnite. They have never played any of those games. They have been Nintendo kids through and through since they were born. I think my oldest son has played Call of Duty with his dad once,
I actually
and it was
got
for
a-
his birthday. It was a cheat.
I actually have a picture of my son playing Donkey Kong on the Super NES Classic.
Right.
Like, that was the first controller I put in his hands. You didn't touch the PlayStation 4. You didn't even touch the Switch. Super NES Classic. I'm like, this is what you're starting with. And now it's like, you want to play a game? Want to play a game? I'm like, okay, we can play. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So, guys, we're going to go into
And the same thing with my kids. My kids are all about Nintendo products. If you ask my youngest who his favorite video game is, he's gonna tell you Mario Odyssey. That's his favorite video game.
And that's
And like Yoshi
Right.
and Donkey Kong, and they're really into Sushi Strikers. I think that's the non-Nintendo. They really like Sushi Strikers. They're starting to show their mom's genes and that they're into Japanese culture because they're like, this is an anime game for kids. I can actually play this one. I'm like, yeah, because I don't have to worry about that line skirting with this game.
But let's move on to the next topic because we are having too much fun tonight. I don't mind at all. This is fun.
I am never getting invited back on this with me taking this off.
Yeah.
Every time you say something, I'm
Oh,
like,
me
oh,
either.
No,
that's what you want me to answer? Let me talk about something completely different.
Let's definitely because it's fun because it's organic, so I don't mind at all. So I want to touch on this whole Sony and Fortnite situation, and it seems it's funny. So I just want to ask you guys. I just want to ask you guys directly. They said they have a solution on handling this. Notice how they're being super vague, like another company that we all had grievances on being vague, Nintendo. They're being super vague about it, and they're saying we have a solution, and we're going to make sure it's good for them and good for our company. Do you think they're going to release the crossplay and let it be crossplay for everybody, or are they just going to lift the block on all their Sony accounts?
Let me take this first because I actually was researching this one.
Oh, go ahead.
And I will do my best to stay on
He's
topic.
bringing the facts.
Oh, he got
Man, got
the
research
notepad.
information.
My dude got the notepad. I'm
So
scared.
this is not word for word because I don't have that good of a memory. But Sony, a former
In
developer
fact,
for Sony,
I'm a plug people. You did a video about this, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I did a couple videos on it, but
I mean
that's
today,
why,
right?
That's why I know I'll stay on topic on this one.
Okay, so
2 minutes later, we're talking about Mario Tennis Aces.
I know. I want to talk about the sales of Mario Tennis Aces, guys.
Still got it sealed. Oh wait, that's Mario Kart 8. Hold on, here it is. Hold on. Still got it sealed. I gotta open this up.
Okay.
Anyways, so Sony, a developer came forward and spoke to, I believe it was Polygon, and they said the reason why Sony is not allowing the crossplay is because they don't feel comfortable with people spending money somewhere else and bringing those items to their platform. They want to keep it all in-house with the people that are playing on their games to make their money on their system and play it there. And the reason why they're allowing crossplay with mobile phones and with Steam is because that's not where the money is. The money is with console gamers. They know that, we know that, and that's why right now they are not changing their stance. And my opinion, and I'll end my thoughts here for you guys to talk about. My opinion is the only way Sony will break and allow open floodgates for crossplay is if public pressure continues. If this dies down and people just give up on it, they're just going to be like, yeah, this is our stance on it, this is whatever. But they're being very wavy about it because they're testing the waters to see how far they can push this before they actually change their mind on it. That's where I stand on it.
Before we get into that, NX Revolution donated $5 and said, "My hero is trash and Nintendo is doomed. Switch is for babies. Get better internet."
Wait, what?
Oh.
No, it's one of my patrons. He's really cool. I just hope to get better internet. He's laughing it up right now. So go ahead, Mama Mercy. Thanks for the donation, NX. I really appreciate you, man.
My big thing is all PlayStation is doing is irritating their fans, because I have heard for many generations how irritated people are that they can't play with their friend who has an Xbox if they have a PlayStation, or if if it's a multiplat, like if it's all three systems get it, like why can't we on Nintendo console play with the PlayStation and the Xbox people?
Right.
That's why PCs have become the master race, because everybody has a computer. We need those in society, and that's why everybody likes PC, because it doesn't matter what kind of PC you're playing on, you can play with your friends as long as they got a Steam account. Right. We're hooking up.
Not to mention the games on PC are like 20% of the price of console half the time.
They are, and they
Summer
look
sale.
and they look 50%
Summer sale.
Yeah.
This is my question. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Avidan. What were you
No,
saying?
you're good. No, I just said they look 50% better. That's all on PC.
Yes. So my question is this: so when it comes to Sony wanting to lock down the crossplay, what is the benefit of that? Do they think that more people are going to go out and buy PlayStations to go with their friends, or do you think that they're just completely missing the target here and not realizing that if they lock it down, it's just like you were saying, irritating the fans, You have a system, the Switch, that can play with Xbox and PC, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So I just recently downloaded I haven't even played one single game on my Switch, but I feel like people are more inclined. I feel like that's pushing people hey, go buy an Xbox, go buy a Switch. Oh, you want to play it mobily too?
Exactly.
Go buy a Switch.
I think it comes down to what I said is what Sony officially said from that developer was they don't want people buying stuff on other platforms and then logging in to the PlayStation 4 to
But
get
the
it.
thing
They
is,
want
though,
that money.
but the result is that what Rax was saying, they're pushing. It's doing the opposite of what they
Are
want.
they? Are you sure?
There are people that have stopped playing on the PS4 and start playing on consoles.
But
People
here's
have
the
done
thing:
that.
until Sony starts seeing a drastic
this-
drop, they're not going to change anything.
Well,
See,
I mean,
the thing
it's
is
still
this is
selling. It's still selling PlayStation 4s hand over fist right now.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's
because
not
they have the games to do on it, but they're talking about dropping another system or
system.
revealing another system next year. They don't come with that crossplay. Xbox is
gonna
gonna
work.
look a
That's-
lot more
not gonna
appealing,
work.
and Switch is gonna
Yeah.
look a lot more appealing when they're like, I can buy a Switch, play with my friends on their
Yep.
PCs, play with my friends on their Xbox. They're cutting out being able to have access to your friends, which is what all gamers want. They just want to play with their friends. That's why the Switch is appealing right now, because you can play with your friends.
Here's
They
where I go
have
off,
the games.
Here's where I go off the rails.
What's going on?
Here's where I go off the rails. Avidan.
Avidan, you want me to go off the rails? We'll go, because
go off the
No,
rails.
I'm piggybacking
ruined
off you,
by
Mom.
PlayStation and Xbox, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
I
What I
think
was
it's-
saying. From
Oh,
the
go ahead.
From the
I love this show.
2018 From the E3 2018 conferences, that's what it proved to me. From what Xbox and Nintendo said, is they are looking to the future, and Sony is looking at the present, and that's going to hurt Sony in the
Definitely.
next generation. That's
I 100%
that's what
agree
I
with
was,
that.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
saying with that.
We're gonna have another PlayStation 3 era where they're playing catch up.
Mhm.
And this is what I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
possibly.
It's like they're gonna get caught. They're gonna get caught with their hands in their pockets now, because when Sony tries to say let's do cross-play on PS5, but they didn't do it on PS4, that's when Nintendo and Xbox are gonna say no. We don't want to work with you anymore. You had your chance, and that's where I feel it's gonna get a
And
real
who
backlash.
loses? The
And-
gamers lose.
But and the other thing is too, is like Fortnite.
Wait, hold on, my mercy. Before you get into that, the black cat, donated again,
Black
$2.
Black Kitty.
So true, NX #facts. So he's just agreeing with NX being the Switches for babies and My Hero is trash. That's basically that. Anyway, go ahead, Mama. My bad.
Well, okay, like for instance, in my house,
Right.
we have PCs, we have a PlayStation 4, and we have Switches. My PlayStation 4 is currently collecting dust. Besides, anytime I decide to boot up Tomb Raider, because I'm trying to beat it before the next game comes out.
Right.
But my kids can get on their Switch and play Fortnite with me, who I am on Switch, with their dad, who's on their PC.
No.
They're cutting out family dynamic. Like
technically, you could still do that with PS4.
I can play with my husband and my kids.
No, I'm saying if that was a situation, all you had was PS4s at your house, you could cross-play with PC.
Yeah, but I don't. That's the thing. There are a lot of houses that don't have just one singular system. Dad has his system, kids have their system, and that's not all the same system. My kids only have their Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I have a Switch. My husband plays mostly his PC, and he has a Switch. But I mean, like, we had one time where, like, I had a PlayStation 4, he had an Xbox One, my kids had a Wii U. Like, it doesn't happen. It doesn't always happen. And, like, the thing is like, my friend in Colorado has none of these systems. She just has a computer.
That's what I'm saying.
So if I don't feel like playing on my computer, I can't play with her.
You're right. No, flexibility.
I can play with.
Flexibility is key, and I think that's the problem. Is who loses out here is the gamers, and I think that's why gamers are so pissed off at Sony.
They
right
just want to play with their friends.
Exactly,
that's all they want. They just want to play with their friends.
Not. Here's the problem. It's a constant battle. These companies are all about the money. They want to make as much money as possible, and gamers are all about how much fun can we have.
Exactly.
And that's where the rubber hits the road and the friction starts. Is people want to have fun, and these companies are not in it for the fun, no matter what they tell you. They're in it for the money.
Avidan, can I go off the rails for a second?
Go right ahead.
Because Xbox and PlayStation ruined, like, my biggest dream as a child. When I was a kid, I was all Nintendo, and I remember sitting there, one controller in hand, handing a controller to my friend, and playing. And I remember being a small girl and going, I can't wait until the day I get married, and then my player 2 is my husband. And then Xbox and PlayStation got their wild hairs up their butts. I was careful. And they're all like, let's do internet play. And, like, you know, most of them, like, me and my husband have had Xbox and PlayStation. We'll go and we want to play a game that's together that's not Call of Duty, because I was not big into shooters until Overwatch. And Overwatch is the only shooter I can really play. And everything is, it's either shooter or we have to have two systems. Like, there is no in between.
Can I piggyback off of how off the rails you're going and just add on to this a little bit?
Sure, please. Let's do it.
I think an extension of that lends itself to the success of the NES Classic, where people just want to plug a system in and play it with someone. Like, I feel like we've gotten to the point with technology where it keeps advancing. It's like we were talking about. Same thing with Mass Effect, where it's Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, Andromeda, where people are coming in at Andromeda and they're like, I haven't played the first one yet. Why would I play the fourth one? It's the same thing with these systems right now, where it's like, I never played PlayStation 1, and you want me to pick up a PlayStation 7? Like, well, what? 7? What the hell is going on? I just want to play a video game with the guy next to me, and you're trying to sell me this thing that will make my coffee for me. I don't want that.
Exactly, and not only do I have to have a PlayStation 7, he has to have a PlayStation 7 to play the same game that, even though you put co-op in it, you made it impossible.
He's still gonna buy the game again. Yeah, exactly.
Made it impossible to play with somebody who lives inside my house.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm talking to Avidan. My kids say hi, Avidan.
Hi.
Hi, kids.
What's up, kids?
But the other thing is, too, is, like, because they make more money that way. And, like, that's the irritating thing about, like, our PCs is, like, yes, we both have our own gaming laptops, but if I want to play a game with my husband, and it's, like, the brand new game just dropped, I got to drop $120 to play with my husband with a game that I should be able to buy one copy and be able to sit right next to him on the couch and play on our 65-inch TV.
Isn't that impressive, Mama, that there are games out there with Ultimate Editions and super spectacular Purple Platinum Editions that will allow you to spend over $100 on a game just to get all the extra stuff in it, when it's like, hey, I just want to hang out and play Contra. Oh, that's a $10 game. Oh, it's on the NES Classic. Let's just pop it in and play it. I feel like it's getting too complicated and people are falling for marketing too much. And I am completely off the rails.
Let's talk about there have been games that literally buy our deluxe edition and pay extra $20 to have co-play in your house.
Oh, don't even get me started on THQ went bankrupt with doing that, adding multiplayer codes to their games so that if you ever sold it back, you had to buy a multiplayer. God, are you kidding me? What?
Didn't EA do that also? They had.
I believe they did. I believe they did.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm sorry. I'll stop talking because this will go on till midnight tonight. If I keep
But it is, and like, but the thing is too is like the difference between like our generation and like now is that when we were growing up, our parents didn't know a dang thing about video games. They didn't want to play video games with us. You know, we got a system so you and your brother would be quiet and leave them alone for a couple hours on a rainy day. Like we still went outside most of the time.
Well, our parents grew up with Pong, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then they saw Mario Bros. And they're like, "This is too hard for me. You jumped on
this is too complicated."
Fire, like, why is that monkey throwing barrels at you? Like,
hand and eye coordination.
What?
No, I'm talking about like old school Mario.
Oh, the old Mario.
Original Mario.
The original Mario. Okay.
Oh.
Damn.
But well, yeah, I'm 30, so you know, I was around for a good chunk of it. At least like Nintendo starting time, I was around for all that. But like the other big thing is they don't take into consideration like beyond a game for younger people that you may want to be able to sit down and play with your spouse. Like that is something that has been lost and forgotten.
Right.
That's a problem. That's a
and like, it's that fact that nobody believes that girls play video games. So
here's the thing. That hits home, Mama, because my wife will only play Dr. Mario with me. She doesn't want to deal with all this crap. She doesn't want to deal with the complication of what are all these buttons? Why do I have to learn all this crap? I just want to play a game. And I feel like it got way too complicated, way too fast. Super Nintendo was the peak. Nintendo 64 got complicated.
Huh?
What's up?
Is Rax okay?
I
thought he like left to go to the restroom or something.
Rax.
I was just seeing if your chair could do this, you know?
Dude, that's actually pretty nice.
Rax going all PewDiePie on us right now.
Sorry, Rax.
I was just waiting for my turn, you know.
Like, listen, you gotta just jump in tonight. This is
Wait.
No, you guys are going in.
Is Rax living that single guy life?
Yeah, actually, I am now.
Okay, so that's like he's like, oh, I can't say anything on this. I don't have a house yet.
See ya.
Nah, it's fresh news today, so.
Okay. Well, for me,
we won't go there.
Yeah, you won't. For me, kind of like you, Mama, and kind of like you, Smash. The only game my wife will play with me is Mario Kart. That's the only game she'll play with me, and it's like it's an easy game that you can play. So I completely on page with you guys on how you feel about just make simple games. There's a market for that.
That's why I don't play fighting games anymore. I can't.
But here's the thing.
Button, combos.
Making simple games isn't the answer. The problem is the architecture of the system. Because I bought snipper clips. I thought my wife was gonna be all about playing snipper clips.
You too?
I was like, yeah, and she was like, I don't want to touch this game because she's intimidated by the controller. She's intimidated by all the buttons. She's intimidated by learning a whole new system, and that's the problem. Is they keep expanding, and it's not a bad thing. I don't want this to come off as a rant because I enjoy the growth of the systems because I've played them all my entire life. But the problem is new people coming to these after years of playing Nintendo are scared, and
100%.
That's why the retro small classic systems are selling like hotcakes because
get her a pro controller.
That's what they remember. Yeah.
Yep.
Get her a pro controller. It helps.
But even that's too complicated for some people.
No, exactly. I got the pro controller. Exactly.
And she's like, "What is this?" Like, just throw it.
Why is it sticking in my hands?
Make her play Stardew Valley. She'll like that game.
Well, here's the problem, Mama, and this is too personal for a podcast, but I don't know if she was playing video games with me because we were dating and she wanted me to like her, or if she grew out of them.
You know what? To be honest, it could be both. It could be she started playing with you because she wanted to date you, and it became a thing she liked. But kids will kill video games for you. There was a very long time.
Kids will kill everything.
Yeah, I mean, not to be bad, or like I love my kids, but not trade them for the world. But there was like a good 4 or 5 year period where like I didn't play video games at all. Like I had to relearn how to play video games because I was with my kids all the time. I swear they have like sixth sense about it. Like as soon as you're like, oh, they're sitting down, they're happy, they're quiet, they're playing a video game, and you pick up that controller, all heck will break loose. in whatever room they're in.
Trust me, I understand.
And you're like, oh, okay, I got to deal with this. And then 3 hours later, you're still sitting on the opening screen because that's how long you've been away from the system. And by then, you're too tired to deal with it anyways.
You're like,
Yeah,
no,
Rax,
forget this.
Rax, I don't know about you, George, but Rax, if you like video games, take your time with having kids, man.
I have absolutely no intention.
No plan. No.
But I will tell you
Totally
that
ignore my
nothing
kids.
is more fun than experiencing games with kids for the first time. Like watching their minds blow and like you've just given me like the holy grail and getting to sit there and see and like watch them like try for a level like for an hour and they're not getting it and they finally get it. They get that mechanic you've been trying to do them. The wonder that opens up in their eye and you will always have something.
Here's
always
my
have something to connect with your kids with.
Mama, here's my parenting fail where I'm editing a video because I'm always like so enveloped in getting the best I can do out. And my kid asked me for help and I walk over to him. He's 4 years old at the time. And I was like, what do you need help with? He's like, oh, I need to fight Bowser. And I was like, you need to fight You're at the final level of Mario Odyssey. Holy crap. You're 4 years old and you just beat the game of Mario Odyssey.
You know what, sweetie? I tried that whole like I'm gonna give my kids a time limit, and it just wasn't worth the fight with me. They have completely free access to their Switch. I will literally be like, "Oh, it's your birthday."
I need you to talk to my
for
wife.
6 hours.
I need you to talk to my wife.
Mama Mercy.
No, dude, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I homeschool my kids. I literally have my kids 24/7. So video games are my break. When we buy them a new one, I'm like, "Here this goes. Don't leave me alone for 6 hours. Bye."
Yo, guys, we're gonna jump into the next topic because this is something that.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm never having these people back on again ever.
No, I'm definitely having you guys back on again.
Checking them
This is
off the
cool.
list, like, nope.
This is cool. I just want to make sure it's organic for all of us. We could all of us to talk to. So, so for those of you who watched last week, you're fine. We touched on the Switch being hacked. You know, that's the Switch being hacked with pornographic images. That is old news at this point. But what was interesting to me this week was a parent actually spoke on Reddit and said he's taking his child offline off the Switch until Nintendo gets better security measures.
Wait, a parent is on Reddit? What? I'm sorry.
Yeah, a parent came on Reddit and literally said they're taking their child offline from the Switch until Nintendo gets better security measures.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like someone's watching the Super Bowl and there's a wardrobe malfunction.
Oh my!
And they say, "I'm not ever gonna let my
That was a
kids
beautiful
watch-"
wardrobe malfunction. By the way.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm never
throw
gonna
that
let
out
my
there.
kids watch football again. It has nothing to do with anything. What the hell, man?
And I mean,
That's how I
like,
look at that.
It's a parent.
Nintendo has been trying, and I mean,
their hardest.
their hardest. And considering it's taken over a year for them to really get hacked, let's talk about that.
So
Like they've been
people have
putting
been trying.
roadblocks, and they were like, "Hey, you
Does
hack our
anybody have
system,
any
we'll
picture
pay
proof
you."
of this?
it's blocked out, but we can probably
Rax
find
just
something.
wants to look at it.
That was a weird way to ask for it.
Sure, I can bring those up real quick.
This is their attorney phone.
I did it purposely just go peace. I'm like, let's see.
I just really hope that if they were doing this, like if this is a real thing, that they were finding some deviant art of like Nintendo characters and putting them in the balloons. Like we're getting Peach in there, some Daisy. No, okay.
Jesus.
way left. Way left. This conversation just went way left.
Yeah. Hey, we're on topic at least.
Exactly.
Like I'm just wondering, like, what is in the balloons? Like, are we at least keeping it Nintendo based? I know that there is
I'm gonna assume there's some extra balloons in those balloons.
Extra balloons?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Some balloons there.
Here's coming from a dad. This is someone who literally has the experience of being a dad. Like, if say I was sitting here, my kid's playing on the TV, and I see he's on the Switch, and a pornographic image shows up, I'd be like, that's pretty effing funny. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, my kid saw something. Oh my
But you
god.
gotta remember that we're like gamer parents. So we're not as like
that might not have been a gamer parent, you know.
We're not as like shielded with our kids.
I guess,
We're like,
I feel bad for that kid if that's the world he's growing up in.
Avidan's raising his hand.
I would be. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be that parent. Like, what in the world?
yeah, but you know you're gonna laugh about it, Avidan.
Oh no, exactly. I'd laugh. I'd be like, first off, I'd be like, hold up, what did you see there? It's not funny, but what the hell? I'd be confused. I'd be very confused.
Like this would be home screen. What you
Home
see
screen.
Didn't say anything. Don't tell your mom.
Don't tell your mom.
Apparently, this talk is coming a lot earlier than I thought it was.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke, but I'll just keep it PG.
No, okay.
Now you see why I was being quiet.
Oh, he's got all the
no
good-
wonder Rax isn't talking at all tonight.
You gotta keep it PG.
Rax is just like, oh, that's not PG.
Like
Wait,
before we
Oh,
got
I
on,
can't say that.
Avidan's just like, Rax, keep it PG, man. And I'm just like,
Okay, do we have to put? Do we have
okay.
to,
What am I supposed to say?
okay. All right. Let me see something for a second. Because this is, we already have so many different things. All right, this is gonna be age restricted. Save. Okay. At this point, disclaimer: if you are easily
Raxified.
Raxified.
Rex is about to go off.
Certified Rax.
please, it's age restricted. Just please. So if you're under the age,
Discretion is advised.
Or easily disturbed,
Here's the thing.
Please
or
leave.
easily upset.
please leave, because at this
This
point,
is your disclaimer to this. It might be
Please
good
don't
for you
post
to
this on Reddit.
depart
Right.
and say goodbye.
I would
Those
say
things are about to be real.
I would say
Avidan, I look at YouTube like walking on the streets in New York. You never know what you're gonna see or hear. Like
true.
that's the world. That's what YouTube is. That's what
Yeah.
this is. Like
that.
agree.
I'm just gonna say this. This is live, so I'm only gonna tell my panel.
Is Attica coming onto the podcast?
Tell my.
No, I'm sorry.
We might be able to make that happen.
It'll make that happen.
Does this mean we can swear now?
I'm gonna say.
People are like, yes.
I'm gonna say.
It's past
No.
kids' bedtime.
With an asterisk, if you can't catch yourself, I'm not gonna stop you. I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna say for it, but I'm not
you
stopping
gotta make
anybody.
my Boston come out of me. I'll start talking fast if I have to.
Just.
Hey, I'm from New York, so I'll be right up there with you, bruh. So.
Yay, we're doing Avidan After Hours.
After
hours.
So, like I said, my request: watch language. If you can't stop yourself, I'm not stopping you. Everyone is
Okay, well, all I'm
accountable
gonna
for
say
themselves.
right now is that I'm the kind of mom, I tried to do the whole perfect parent thing, like from the beginning, and like within like 2-3 years, I was over it. I'm like, I can't. I'm stressing myself out more as a parent.
Gotcha.
Trying to do that. My kids watch anime. Their favorite anime is Fairy Tail. If you've ever seen Fairy Tail,
I've
you
seen
know what the
Fairy
girls
Tail.
of Fairy Tail look like. So my kids seeing some
big old titties.
extra balloons within the balloons isn't gonna phase them at all. They're gonna probably come tell me about it. They're gonna be like, "Hey, mom, you need to come see this. This is funny."
Fairy Tail is another ball game. Let's stay on topic. To stay on topic though.
Okay.
So what do you guys
Wait,
think?
that wasn't on topic?
But I mean, like, I feel bad for that kid because there are parents that are like super sheltering of their kids, and they're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
But I'm like, Avidan, like even you're like, okay, I hit the home screen, but you're not gonna be like, okay, now you're never gonna be on the Switch.
Never. No.
Yeah,
Never
that's a
that.
little
I
extreme.
won't even take them offline. I'll be like, okay, look into why this happened, and then we'll go ahead.
And you would see that
fix it.
Nintendo's handling it, or
Exactly.
they're working on it, and you're like,
yeah.
all right, so we're just for like the
Reported
next
to
2 weeks, we're not
Nintendo.
playing.
Exactly. We'll just
Balloon Pop or whatever that
I'm not gonna
mode
take you off the
is.
Switch because of that. That's not your fault.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna rob
exactly.
you. Yeah. But
Mhm.
Avidan, you need to change the title of this to Avidan Direct Chillcast Episode 5. Bunch of wild and crazy people. That's all you
Bunch of wild and crazy.
you know
But
what?
yeah, like I said, my kids watch anime, so they would have probably just got kicked out of it. Their dad would. I know Skitch would laugh about it. He'd be like, "Oh, I guess we have talks with them early."
I will say this though. I do have one question I want to ask you guys.
Yeah.
With this and being really serious, do you guys think this will affect Nintendo Online? If this catches on and this becomes a trend, will this affect their online launching in September? Because
No.
that was one of my.
What do you mean by like affecting they're
well,
online.
if more people, if it's on Reddit, because it's easy for things to get upvoted on Reddit, and it's easy for people to do the follow the leader type of train.
Yeah.
Right, like they did with Pokemon Go, with a girl
Exactly.
who got hit by the car.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
And
Avidan, in the
what's
grand
that?
scheme, this is pissing in the
Oh,
ocean.
hold up, because I want to say one thing. The reason why I'm saying this is because of how the internet has proven to me they are super soft when it comes to knee-jerk reactions. We've seen it with a whole bunch of things at E3 that it just takes that one knee-jerk reaction to get a whole bunch of people to be on the same page. So that's why I brought the question up.
Right.
But I feel like Nintendo will handle it professionally and appropriately, and it will be taken care of. It's a piss in the ocean; it will go away. Unlike the Atari VCS that pours gasoline.
No.
When there's an issue, they just know how to keep that fire going. They'll make sure. But Nintendo is very professional.
But see, like, though, you're gonna have those parents that are outraged. And they're like, "Oh, Nintendo's ruining my child," or "They're not doing anything." But the rest of us, and then and to be honest, like the rest of us are just gonna sit there and shake our heads because we all know those are moms that have never touched a console in their life.
Yep.
And yeah, it's probably gonna catch some news. Some news stations are gonna go on it because they want to attack video games. They always have. They want to
Right.
But that's not their target market. Those people don't even play video games. They just
Exactly.
talk.
Of course
they just talk
not.
crap.
Hey, Fortnite makes you violent. You didn't know this?
Yeah, Fortnite
Yeah,
just
right.
makes
Fortnite makes you
people
violent.
really aggressive.
Don't even get me started on that.
I should,
What was that,
you know,
Rax?
be capping people
Fortnite
and,
made
you
me
know,
a
not taking care of my kids and hanging out on a corner. So I played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto.
That was perfect. That was perfect, Rax.
Rax just says, Mama didn't hear you. Rax, say that one more time.
I said Fortnite didn't make me violent. It made me a breakdancer.
I misheard you. And it was even funnier when I misheard. I thought you said Fortnite made me a great dancer. And I'm like,
Well, I mean,
just-
technically, that's part of being a breakdancer. You guys want to see
Well,
some
that's
videos real quick?
that's the same way of saying playing a game makes you violent. Playing a game makes you a great dancer. It's like no, you gotta really work at that.
Well, don't
crap
you know
doesn't
that
happen.
that pencils misspell words and, you know.
Castlevania made me a vampire
Yeah,
hunter.
right. Yeah.
Vampire.
I see it,
You
dude.
guys got to see all of the vampires I've killed.
Yeah.
Dude, those cheekbones, I see it.
Yeah.
I've watched every Blade movie. Didn't do anything to me. I played Castlevania. Now I just want to drink blood, man.
Yeah. I actually went to
Dude,
a blood rave in New York
I'm
City.
gonna go out and kill angels all day. That's what I want to do. That's what I can do now.
Sounds awesome.
It was actually after
I
Comic
also
Con
play
in
World of
2015.
Warcraft and other MMOs, so now I think it's okay to walk around in bikini with a giant 6-foot sword on my back.
Yeah.
My off day. This is why I'm so conservative today, because the battle bikini's in my closet.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I haven't laughed this much all week. This has been the funniest thing all week. I'm not gonna lie to you
This
guys.
is too funny. I'm having a blast here, man.
Definitely.
This was fun. This was fun. We're gonna skip that second part question because we already said no. Nintendo. This is not Nintendo.
It's not their fault.
It's not
Are we
their
even
fault.
talking about a topic anymore? Or was it?
We're just having.
We're talking about
Okay.
extra balloons being inside of balloons in
Guys,
Mario
There's huge
Odyssey.
balloons and people.
Rex, the question was, let's circle back. The question was, how did you become a vampire?
Yeah, dude, I need this information.
I mean,
we need facts.
we need
So-
facts.
Facts from Rax.
Facts from Rax. You need to make
Segment.
that. You
And
need
it's
to
a
make
new
that a
segment.
series. That's a new series. Facts from Rax, episode 1.
So I read a lot of Goosebumps when I was a kid.
Oh.
I feel old now.
Yeah, goosebumps, man.
I actually feel like there was one that was about like a bunny being a vampire or something like that.
There was.
Yeah, that's how I became a vampire. Bunacula.
Real fast, because 1970 Scout 800 is a give those codes away. Bro, I gave them back to you, but I'm gonna open this up for anybody again, because most of the people who are in here don't really have Xbox per se, and or if they have Xbox, they already have Minecraft for Xbox. But if we could get more people to join in on this board, I would definitely give those away. But 1970 Scout, I would say, is better for you. Just so I won't waste your time, go ahead and give those away to somebody who can actually use them. Because I don't want to just give them away for the sake of give them away, and they're not using it. You know, the purpose of the giveaway is just so someone could really enjoy it. and I don't want to rob that from nobody.
What are we giving away? Because I need it.
Because I need
it will be a fair giveaway.
It's mine.
But
it's totally fair.
Dude, look at he's a vampire. He's using his mind control on you right now.
Before we get into that,
NX
Revolution.
What do they call it? Gleaming?
gleaming.
NX Revolution donated $2 and said, if you play games, you have a mental disease.
Oh.
That could be a topic.
Yeah,
in
it's
itself.
called fun. Society wants to kill it. My mental disease is I like having fun.
Yeah, what are you doing trying to have fun? That's not allowed.
You're not allowed to do that. Who said?
Dude, no,
Who taught you how to have fun?
I one time made the mistake of getting on Facebook and be like, so nice to finally sit down and play video games. The amount of hate comments I got on that message.
What?
Yeah,
Don't you have kids to change diapers on?
Exactly. Because I am a mom.
Don't you have to
and they're
cook
like,
food?
don't you have a house to clean? Don't you got kids to take care of? Don't you got other things to be doing? Don't you got laundry in your laundry room?
I don't hear that
And I was
vacuum going.
Like, don't you have
I
someone
just
else's
wanted
ass
sit
to
down
stick your
for
nose
2
in?
hours and do something for me. But no, because I got kids, now it's not okay for me to play video games. But if I wanted to sit here and drink wine all day while I took care of my kid, nobody
she's
would
taking
say
shots
anything
at
to
you,
me.
Smash.
Oh.
No, I wasn't taking shots.
Taking shots at you, Smash.
Wait, did someone throw shots?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do some shots.
Want to do some body shots?
Oh man, I went to too many games. I was trying to do shots with Jay from the Game Chasers, but they wouldn't let me bring in Wild Turkey, so I was kind of upset.
That's a pretty intense shot to be taken. I was expecting like Jaeger.
Jay's a real man.
Have some vodka.
So I just left the con and drank margaritas with the Rebel Gaming Club.
Dude, completely off topic. Dude. Completely off topic. Rax, that looked like a pretty epic trip you had, dude.
No, I'm telling you
Yeah,
right now, like if you guys have never been to too many games, if you are on the East Coast, or if you can somehow manage to plan a trip to that convention, I'm talking about. I've been to New York City Comic Con. I've been to a lot of different, tons of really big scale conventions. This convention was like just blew everything else out of the water. It was so good.
I'll be there next year.
All those little YouTubers were hanging out with the big guy Rax though. I saw
Yeah,
Wood hanging out with you. I saw
I saw CND. I was like,
CND hanging out with you.
Dude, we had so much fun.
in fact, I got a funny story to tell you guys. This dude Rax gonna come to my stream and says, "Hey, I'm in an Uber with CND." I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
Oh,
Next thing you gotta tell me, you bought his RV.
that was a wild night. That was a wild night.
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
It's okay. I really like Rax's setup. He looks so professional.
Yeah.
Compared to
Like,
the rest
you have a green
of us.
screen.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
like, it's all,
a
like,
scrub.
clean.
Like,
I was like, I got
Yeah.
Umbreon in my back wall.
I got
got nothing in my-
a messy
in my
couch.
Hey, I got
I've
Mario.
got nothing better to spend money on, so
I got,
you've
I got
got children
Mario.
to take care of.
I got Mario holding up a box of Lysol.
That
wipes
is
behind.
cool. Smash. You got Mario.
Yeah, he's promoting being clean. I mean, kids aren't going to listen to you, but they'll listen to Mario.
You
Exactly.
know what? My son's Elmo's all the way over there. I can bring Elmo to look more professional than you.
I'm mad because my son ran off with my Dragonite. Dragonite's supposed to be back there too, but he
Ooh, I
stole
like
it.
Dragonite.
Yeah,
So-
it's one of my favorites. And Gengar. I need to get a Gengar stuffy.
But
I need to have all of the evolutions. That's what's going to be back here eventually. Is I'm going to have all of them.
let's jump.
Let's
This
get
is
into
funny.
another time.
Let's jump into something that's pretty fun. Now, Nintendo's been doing a lot of crossovers as of late, and
Yeah.
especially with Ubisoft.
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft's crossover with Starlink, and Smash Bros. Coming back, the biggest crossover of all time. I want just some fun. What are some interesting crossovers that you would like to see, not just on Nintendo, but on any console that would be pretty cool that you think will sell well?
Yeah, give me a
I want to see Bayonetta kick the living daylights out of Dante.
Ooh,
that's a
Bayonetta
good
cross.
one. That's a good one.
That'd be
That's
cool.
a good one.
Damn, I can't top that.
Are we talking
Sorry.
so strictly like
No.
Nintendo with
Nope.
Nintendo,
Nope.
or just
Nope.
like
No, just
anywhere,
anything.
like it's
Anything.
open?
It opens up the door a lot.
Just some fun possibilities.
So for me,
I would also like to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Avidan.
no, go ahead.
This
Go
just
ahead.
popped in. Go ahead. You were talking first. We're adults here.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
No,
I
it's
give you
your
ladies
podcast,
first.
I would
Ladies
really,
first.
really like to see, and I don't know why, but I really would like to see a Castlevania and Witcher crossover.
That would be
That's
awesome.
and that's actually what I was going at. I was going with Simon
Someone say
Belmont.
Castlevania.
I was gonna say Simon Belmont and The Witcher. So yeah.
Oh yeah, Belmont Singlette, high five from across the internet.
Across the internet.
I was about to say that. I was about to say Simon Belmont and Witcher. So you got it. All right, cool.
I want to see E.T. and Superman 64 cross. No, seriously.
Oh, that'd be the best thing
seriously,
ever,
no,
bro.
seriously. I agree. I agree with Sebastian Clark in the chat. Master Chief in Smash. Give me Master Chief in
I
Smash.
want to
Yes.
see
Oh,
Master Chief
baby.
in Metroid 4.
That would be dope.
That would be awesome.
No, I would
Halo
not like
and
that. I would
Metroid.
not-
That
No.
Yes,
I
Samus
want
and
those
Samus
and
Master
Don't
Chief.
cross the streams. Don't
And
cross
then they
the
fall in
cross it.
love, okay? And then they give
Oh,
us
they have the
a
ultimate
merge
bounty hunter
to the new
lineage.
generation of Halo.
And
Metroid.
that child turns out to be Boba Fett.
No, it's actually gonna be.
Let's just introduce Star Wars into this.
We're just gonna mix it.
Why not?
all the star stuff.
That would
Oh,
actually
man.
be pretty
That
cool.
would
We
be
need-
cool.
I feel like
Listen, we need
Halo
more
and
viewers for this.
Metroid.
This
Are we still on the rails?
Nintendo or little buddy now.
We
you know?
are. We need more viewers for this though. We need way more than
Right?
22.
Please share this stream,
You know
everybody.
what? If I ever start a podcast, I'm just gonna literally have one topic, and then I'm just gonna see where everything goes from there. Like we're not gonna talk about, like we're gonna talk about one topic.
No, that's
And
why.
I'd be like, just go off the rails, guys. Just
If
whatever
I-
you want to do.
If I ever have Smash and Mama Mercy in the same one, it's just gonna be one
Bad news.
topic.
Bad news.
It's gonna be one topic. This one, we're having too much fun. I said we're gonna wing it. We're gonna wing it. So
The notes will say, "I just want to talk," and we'll just go.
I mean, I would actually like to see Rayman and like Mario together. Like I thought it was cool that like Mario and the rabbits were together, but I would like to see like Mario and like Rayman.
That'd be cool.
I don't know if Nintendo would ever allow that because that's kind of Nintendo's thing. I think that's why they allowed the rabbits is because it was so wild of a crossover that it didn't even come close to invading the proprietary 2D Mario world. Like Nintendo is so protective of that they would never in a gazillion years let that happen. I don't think.
Well, I don't know. I
Didn't
mean,
they announce it tomorrow?
I know. Like they announce it next year.
By the way,
And I'd be like,
it
Avidan,
comes out at Ubisoft
delete this.
We'll refer back to this video.
yeah, we're gonna get those Nintendo ninjas. They're gonna be like, they know too much.
They know too much.
So your video is just tomorrow. Big thumbnail. I was wrong about yada yada.
yeah, right.
oh man. This
Well, I mean, Sebastian is very unlikely we'll ever get a Western character in Smash. But I would never say never. It's Nintendo.
Goku for Smash.
I
We're
want a
not
new
getting Goku
Goku
for
Ghost
Smash.
game.
Shout outs to my boy G5.
By the way,
Goku for
I'd like to
Smash.
say that I'm really excited about Jump Force. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, like
that's a great
OJ
concept.
said that there are other games that have done the same thing. I've missed them all. So, like, I lost my ever-loving mind when I was like, oh, it's Luffy. Oh, it's Naruto. It's Vegeta. Like, what is going on here?
I think
I wanted an anime game where anime characters can just kick the living daylights out of each other for so long.
Avidan, let me ask a question to everybody here.
Go ahead.
One game, if you could have one game be created, whatever game you want it to be, a sequel or a new game or whatever it would be, probably a sequel because people can relate. What one game would you want to see? And can I start just to throw it out there?
Sure.
If I could have one game made, it would be a proper sequel to the original Chrono Trigger.
I was gonna say that. Oh my
So
god.
that's why I went first. That's why I went first.
It's like, it's my
Can I-
idea.
What
can
is
I-
the
I-
game
no, wait.
you want?
I got mine. I'm doing mine next.
Okay.
then.
Okay. You go, David.
Okay, go.
I want a proper sequel to Super Mario RPG.
No,
Ooh,
that's a
that'd be
good one.
cool.
That's a good one.
I would like a proper sequel to Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh, there you go.
In that
That's
same
another
vein. What about you, Rex?
I want a proper sequel to Hello Kitty Racing. Like I know what I'm sick of this board stuff. Why do we keep getting these?
I'm starting a
I already
petition.
played the Wii U version. I don't need that on my Switch. I need a sequel. No, I'm just kidding. I would love to see. There's a couple of. I'm gonna throw out 3. Okay, because I'm greedy like that. I need this much time. I've been
Go
quiet.
ahead.
So not only would I want a proper sequel to Diddy Kong Racing, Okay.
Which got rumored today that it's in the works, by the way.
Hey, you
but
better
go on.
shut your mouth.
I'll send you the link. I will send you the link, but go on.
I'm gonna kiss your face. I would love to see a proper sequel to Castlevania in 2D. Okay, and make it seriously like Symphony of the Night. I loved that. You know,
my favorite one.
Dude, I mean, I love all Castlevania.
They made some
like,
great ones for the DS. You play all 3 of those?
Yeah.
I actually am going for an entire. I'm at Circle of the Moon. I thought that was Game Boy.
No, that was Game Boy Advance.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's what I'm saying.
That was DS.
I thought you said DS.
That was DS. Was it? Wait,
I have it
Circle of the Moon?
boxed.
That was DS. That was DS.
God damn, I'm old. Okay, go on.
Nah, hold on.
Oh!
You got the collection.
He's gonna bring those facts, man.
Boom.
Oh.
Racks with the facts. It is the Advance. Okay, so I am old. I misremembered.
Don't make me second guess myself on.
Oh, you got me second guessing myself now.
All right, so now that we've established that is for the Game Boy Advance,
Yeah.
another Ghouls and Ghosts game. All right,
I love
now, I
how
feel like
fast you
Ghouls
were.
and Ghosts. Yeah, it's because I have all of my collections like right off screen.
awesome.
So like honestly, like I feel like Capcom has such a great title. Like when it comes to 2D platformers, like you know, even when we talk about crossovers, like I would love to see a crossover between Castlevania and Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Like I think that would be awesome.
They did. That was on the Sega Genesis. It was Bloodlines.
No, just kidding. Anyway, but yeah, those are the 3 games that I would like to see sequels of. So Diddy Kong Racing, Castlevania, like not. I mean, obviously we're getting Bloodstained, which is a successor, but and not only that, but speaking of which, Bloodstained, what was it? What I want to call it Circle of the Moon every single time.
Curse of the Moon?
Harmony of Dissonance.
Yeah, Harmony of Dissonance. Yeah, but the one that was just on the Switch was absolutely amazing. I thought that was really cool how they did that. It was cool being able to switch between characters. But yeah, those are the 3 games that I would like to see actual sequels of.
I would like to see a sequel to The World Ends With You, to be honest. And I'm hoping that with the sales of this remake on Switch, that Square Enix is convinced to make a sequel for that game.
Maybe that's what they're doing, is testing the waters to see if the
I hope
sales
so.
are there to, yeah.
I hope so. I think there's a lot of people who are very interested in this game, and I think, on DS, while the DS was very successful, I think, the DS was aimed more for casual gamers. So I think a lot of people kind of overlooked World Ends With You on the DS. So I'm hoping with the Switch, with a more hardcore more core fan base, that we'll all go out and pick up that game and we'll get a sequel. That's
I want Square to go back to their roots of Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy 3.
Secret of Mana.
I was gonna mention Secret of Mana too. I was gonna mention.
I feel like their sales success of Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation 1 shot the company in a completely different direction.
They needed to make that game.
That was very successful, but at the same time, they lost their way along the way.
Ooh.
And I feel like they need to get back to what made them great.
Smash, that's a. I'm gonna just put this out there for you. That's an excellent video idea.
Yeah.
How Square lost their way.
That's
already.
That's an excellent video idea.
Yeah.
So, oh man. So
can I say mine now?
Yeah, go ahead, Mom.
I think the first game that I would really like a sequel to, or like just another one in the series, as I don't know if anybody knows this series, but Rune Factory got me through some times.
That's kind of like Harvest Moon, right?
Yeah, but better because it's also a dungeon crawler. So on top of having your town and your farms and making the relationships, you have 4 dungeons to go into. I played Rune Factory Frontier, still haven't beaten it. I probably put so many hours in that game, still haven't beaten it, but I really like it. And my kids love to watch me play it. They think it's funny that I can go catch animals. Yeah, that was on the Wii. And then they had Rune Factory 4 on the 3DS.
Okay.
Nice.
I played a little bit of it on the Wii, but I couldn't get into it. It was overly complicated at the beginning, and that turned me off a little bit. I gotta try it again.
But another game, I know I'm gonna get flack for this. I want Scalebound. I want a game where I'm not killing dragons. I have a partner dragon, and we go kill things together. Like, I'm a big dragon lover.
Scalebound.
Huh?
I said there's a lot of people that really want Scalebound. That was like a pretty big upset for the Xbox fans when that just got
axed.
You know what I mean?
Because we love dragons, and in most video games, dragons are bad guys.
Has like this mixture of like Devil May Cry meets I don't know what. Like that was such a really cool concept, and I just don't know why.
Kind of way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It looked cool.
Mr. Nickel, I'm ignoring you. Anyways, I would like another Golden Sun. That was
That'd be great.
Golden
That'd
Sun.
be great.
Cool. Golden Sun.
That was an RPG I really liked in my younger years, and I played it a lot in high school. Mr. Nickel.
Mr. Nickel said, "Do you mean slideshow bound?"
I'm not even acknowledging that you exist.
How about
Anyways.
how about a proper sequel to Earthbound? Not the one that came out on Game Boy Advance, because I didn't really like that one. The one that never came out in America. I played the
Mother
fan
3?
translate.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. It wasn't like Earthbound on Super Nintendo. One of my favorite games ever made.
Right.
Mother 3 just didn't do it for me, and I want a proper sequel to Earthbound.
that would be dope. Actually,
Yeah.
it deserves it. Actually,
I think
One
Earthbound
more
needs to come back.
One more game.
What game?
What's that,
I
Mom?
really hope Nintendo picks it up, and I know everybody's gonna be like, because it was an Xbox only game, and it was the one game I liked on my Xbox One. I want Sunset Overdrive 2.
Yep. Sunset Overdrive.
That game was awesome. I'm a huge Deadpool fan, and I love games that don't take themselves seriously and like to break the fourth wall. And it was all of that, and it had like the comic book talk. Like you would blow up a bad guy, and it would be like boom.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So touching back on Earthbound, like what you guys were just talking about. Now, did you have something else to say, Mama Mercy? Because I don't want to cut you off.
That was my last
All right,
game.
word. So if you guys were to want to see Earthbound come back, would you want it to be in a 3D plane, or would you want it to stay in that 2D kind of thing and do something sort of like Secret of Mana did? But
oh god,
I think that a lot of people were not happy with that.
Why are we getting away from the 32-bit sprites? Why? Just keep that. That's what it was. It was so great. The story just was so.
You don't want it modernized, Smash?
No, I don't. I don't. Maybe I'm just an old man.
What if like modernizing
just
it?
because of what the new generation wants? Like, do you think that? I
Tell
think
me,
that a lot of these.
How did the new generation handle Secret of Mana's remake? They hated it.
No, but that was handled poorly.
That's
though.
a different. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I mean. Like, but they still kept that top-down-ish look. That's exactly like you just literally kind of made my point. So what I'm saying is that when we do these old school style games, it's really geared towards people like us who played these games originally, and we want to see it remastered. But just like you said, you would have preferred the other sprites. Like, you know, I'm sure you probably would have just been happy just being able to download the game in its original form right on the PS4, right? Yes.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But
I mean, if they did it right, like what you're saying, if they did Secret of Mana perfectly, if they executed, if the graphics were better, if the interface was better, if it was all perfectly executed and they made all the errors in the original one better, maybe.
Okay, so what was your biggest complaint about Secret of Mana?
Yeah, the remake.
Everything I just said. The interface was terrible. The graphics weren't
just pick
up
your
to par.
biggest complaint, like just one.
Biggest complaint. Damn, that's a hard question, dude. That's gonna be some dead air right now. There's just I sound like such an idiot because I'm not able to put it into words. It's just
You think about that for a second, but I'd just like to make a real quick point. I mean, they could get away with just downloading the game the way it is. If Undertale's taught us anything,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everybody would be perfectly happy with just maybe not being so jagged and looks okay on a.
All right.
Maybe that's actually
So
that's my answer then. That's my answer. Let me answer now.
Yeah.
My answer, how they could have made Secret of Mana better on the remake, is add the dungeons that were cut from the original Super Nintendo because they didn't have the room on the cart. That's how they could have made it better.
Hi, wife. Hi, kid.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, wife and kids.
So, think about this. All right, now, do you like? Obviously, if we take Zelda, it started out as that pixelated sprite game going up and down, like had top-down view and everything like that. Now we have Breath of the Wild. All I'm saying is that if we could execute it exactly to what the vision would be for a new generation, but still keep everything that makes Earthbound. Like,
Right.
I think that they could definitely create something very special like that. As long as they have the right team in place, I think that it would be a fantastic game because it has such a like a different. Think about all the games that are coming out now. Like when you take Earthbound and stick it into what kind of games we have now, like the stuff that happens in Earthbound is just so wacky. I think the first enemy that I had was like a smelly hippie or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it has such an awesome setting. I think that it would be cool to be in that, or even like, do you guys ever remember Zombies Ate My Neighbors?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I would love
that.
to see like something like that in like a 3D plane. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe just have a bonus where you can
I want to touch on a
game
point.
with it for free.
I actually want to carry. I actually want to carry off though. Go ahead. What happened, Smash?
I was gonna say, here's a better question. You keep saying, "Well, look what Breath of the Wild did." Look what Breath of the Wild did.
I mean, even
ultimately-
Ocarina of Time.
Well, I'm just saying. Ultimately, my favorite Zelda is Link to the Past. Still.
Right.
So that's my answer to that.
But even with Link to the Past, that was such a change from
Zelda
the
1.
original Zelda, really.
Zelda
It
1 and
was.
Zelda
In terms of
2.
It
graphics.
was.
But
You know.
what I want to carry off that, to carry off what Rack said, because basically the vision for Breath of the Wild was the original vision for Zelda 1, right?
Yeah.
So I get what he's saying, because the same way y'all feel about Mother, I feel that way about Final Fantasy VII. You know, break away from the limitations of the older console, but make it to where you really envision the game what it truly able to be. Because
I mean, there's a reason why these games have so much hype around them.
and I tell people all the time, a lot of people don't understand why Final Fantasy VII it will take so long or be so huge. Like, people argue with me that
What is going on?
it's fine.
Kid life.
Kids, it's
I'll
fine.
I'll just mute my screen while you talk. Go ahead.
It's
One
cool,
in a
it's kids.
blender? What was that?
No, I'm gonna guess
can
Legos.
make- we can make
Or
more.
they're
We can
dragging
make more.
something like a laundry basket across the floor. That would be my guess.
But my whole thing is, when you look at Final Fantasy VII, right? Final Fantasy VII, you have loading screens galore in the original. Now, when you go into the PS4, PS5 era, where the whole new craze is seamless, you can't do that anymore. You can't do the top-down view anymore. You have to add a whole bunch of new things, especially with a franchise. Well, not gonna say a franchise, with a game as big as Final Fantasy VII, which is its own entity outside of all the other
So
games.
much hype behind it. You can't really just do the basic, like, hey, we kind of just made the
would not-
graphics look a little
It
better.
would not sell as much. I mean, you'll have your purist. It will
Yeah.
sell well to the purists who love the sprites game, but to appeal to the newer generation and make the newer generation appreciate the game as much or more than the previous generation, then you got to remake that game from the ground up. That's why I'm trying my best to be patient with that game.
Even like this, like I feel like when it comes to like these newer games that come out, like so for Breath of the Wild, like being like in a video game store and seeing people coming and looking for games, when games like Breath of the Wild come out or whatever, I feel like it makes people want to appreciate the games that are prior to that, like appealing to the new generation at least, like especially, you know, and it even comes to the people who want to relive the nostalgia again. Like, it's like, oh, this new game is coming out in the series, man, I remember playing those games way back then, let me play these again. So I think that you know, even like, by all means, I'm not saying that Smash is like wrong for loving what he loves. I think that that's fantastic. Like, stay true to what you love. Like, absolutely.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it really is. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not a bad thing to bring it to a new generation that might, you know, make the series keep on living on, but just in a different way, I guess. I would love to see an Earthbound in 3D. Like, I would just like to see what they would do with it. I think that I don't know if they would, you know, continue to do the turn-based mechanic or maybe something like real-time like the new Final Fantasy games are. I just feel like it would be a unique experience compared to the rest of everything. It's like, oh, this Final Fantasy is, you know, they go on their wacky, weird stuff. But you know, every other RPG, it's like, oh, this is in a medieval time. This is what you're doing. Oh, there's some dragons. Oh, there's some guilds. Oh, there's this. and it's all pretty much the same formula all the time. But I feel like that's what made Earthbound so special and so loved, is that it was just like so much different than your average RPG that you're playing. Like, you're a kid, you got a yo-yo, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
baseball bat, like, you got a wiffle ball bat, like, you know, I mean, it's just like crazy stuff.
But I have a question.
Go ahead, Mama.
What's up?
I haven't played the Earthbound games, I'll admit that, but I do know a lot about them. With you suggesting that they be made for today's audience, are you going to be okay with the changes in the game that would come to that? Because a 10-year-old doesn't know what a hippie is, but they know what a hipster is.
Yeah, like I absolutely, like, I am all for like making it within the new cool, you know, I don't even know what the word to describe that is, like the,
you know what, actually I feel like that would really work with Earthbound, to be like, have two kids just sit there playing video games, and mom's like, we had to go outside, and this is our adventure on outside.
Yeah, you kind of like do what you do
dope.
today in Earthbound. Like, that'd be cool. You know, very like very like socially present. Earthbound could be one of those series. You know,
the enemy just pops up and is just like,
It's lit!
yeah,
I know, right?
YOLO, guys!
YOLO.
Oh wait, instead of a club, can one of the kids have like a selfie stick as their weapon instead of a club? Just a selfie stick?
I know.
yeah,
That would work.
wax you with its selfie stick. Yeah.
And just to be in that.
Hey, have you been
weird
hit with some of
world,
those selfie sticks? Some of those selfie sticks are really well made.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
That'd
But
be
guys, let's jump into the final topic of tonight, and that is the Google Yeti. All right,
That's what it's
so
called.
Wait, what?
yeah, it's called the Google Yeti. Google's making their own they're supposed to be making their own console, and it's supposed to be streaming based. You know, kind of like how what Xbox is supposed to be doing right now. And I have a few reservations about it. I think it's not going to really be too much of a... I don't think it's going to be too much of a big deal, being honest with you. Mainly because Nintendo Switch has its own market. PlayStation is on top of its own market. The only people they'll be competing with, kinda, is Xbox. And Xbox already has leverage of loyalty with other consoles already. But what do you guys think about this?
It's Google.
I mean, if they were really motivated, they could, you know, break in and into the market and be a real competitor. But I just don't think. I don't think they're really serious about it. You know.
They'll be the Ouya.
The Ouya, next Ouya, the next Atari VCS. You know, whatever.
Here's the thing: when creating a device to sell to the public, you need a buying proposition. You need to give something to the public that they want, that they need to fill a gap that's there that nobody is doing. And currently at the present space, that to my knowledge, there's nothing that's missing in the video game space that
100%.
hasn't been covered.
They would have to try to find.
You have to add value.
They would have to try to find a way to fill a gap that maybe we don't even see right now. You know what I mean?
I look at Google like they have the money to do anything and be successful at it. But one thing that proved that wrong was when they tried to be the next Facebook with Google Plus and they failed at it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much money you have, sometimes you just can't break into a market because it's already been created. And I feel like that's the situation with the video game industry right now. And maybe I'm completely wrong, completely off base. Maybe they'll come out with something that is just like 1,000 teraflops and holy crap, this thing will make
200 teraflops.
Yeah, exactly. It will have VR capabilities and not make you want to throw up after playing.
It'll make your coffee for you.
Makes your coffee.
Yeah, make your coffee. Yeah, exactly. The problem is I have all the major platforms. I have a super powerful PC. I can play everything and every game ever made that I ever wanted. There's nothing that could come out that I'd be like, oh my god, I can't wait to get that. It's the same problem I had with the Xbox One X. Where I'm like, why would I upgrade to that? I already have the Xbox One. I didn't even get the S. What's the point? I can play the games on it. Then all the games come out to it. And you can't tell me Google's going to come out with a system that comes with proprietary AAA title games that are so great that won't be on other systems that I'll have to go to Google. That just I just don't understand that.
Google is an unproven, company when it comes to video games. Like
they're unproven with a lot of things.
Well, hardcore gamers aren't just gonna go on like, oh, let me get Google because I use their search engine, or I use YouTube. They're gonna have to prove to gamers, and I don't know that they can do it because they don't have IPs. They don't have. What are they gonna get? Studios? Like they're not gonna get. Yeah, sure.
That's my question with the system they're coming out with. Like, is it gonna be like mobile games? Because doesn't Google own Android?
Well, it'll be. It's supposed to be streamlined where you could play tablet mode. You could play your game anywhere. That's what.
Haven't we already?
Your mobile game, correct?
We already have those.
Yeah.
haven't we already figured out like 30 times that there is no market for that, and yet these companies keep trying to create one.
I feel like people only buy those damn things for like for example, you guys remember when the Nvidia Shield came out, that it was like a controller that had the screen that flipped up?
Yeah.
All right, so I absolutely loved that concept, but they just had no support for it. So the only thing that thing was great for was me emulating my Dreamcast games and taking them with me on the go.
Just hacking the system.
Yeah, hacking the thing. Like, that's all it really is. Like, I feel like even when it comes to like the Nvidia Shield, people just slap emulators on these things and just like call it a day. You know what I mean? Nobody's really even buying things off the market.
Really? I mean, and that's what would happen with this new Google system because, like I said, it's unproven. And I mean, and they're gonna have to try hard to like convince gamers. I mean, look at Nintendo. Like, Nintendo has been in the business for what, over 30 years, and they still had to prove themselves with the Switch. And they know video games. That's their business. And what's Google gonna do? You know,
here's the thing: if Google came out with the Switch exactly the way it is, but instead of saying Nintendo on it, it said Google on it, I don't know if it would have sold.
It wouldn't.
No.
Well,
especially competing with a household name like Nintendo. Like, I just feel like people look at Nintendo as like, oh,
yeah, they would have mobile games.
Yeah, exactly. It would be mobile
Nintendo
games.
Nintendo has the IPs. They got the Zelda and the Mario.
Well, I think just the
Smash.
I think just like what you were saying before, Mama Mercy, like when the first thing out of your mouth was, doesn't Google own Android? Like, that's the first thing that people are going to think of. They're going to be like, oh, mobile games.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
well, that's what I have this for. Why do I need to buy a game system when I got the controller right here?
Exactly. I absolutely love Castlevania, like I was saying before. They announced the Castlevania for mobile, and I was just like,
Yep.
Like, why?
Like,
why did you do that to me?
That's offensive.
Yeah. That game doesn't exist.
Mobile games I have on here on the net, though, to be honest, because
but you
I want Animal Crossing and
I just
Fire Emblem on the Switch. That's why I support it.
Here's the thing: it's such a silly venture to have all the money in the world and want to start a new console. Why not start with a video game development publisher and be Google the video game publisher and make games and start there and see if you can make some good games.
Yeah.
And then make those good games and then create a console 5 years down the road with your publisher that you have that's established and can do good things.
Make those games exclusive, you know.
They're putting the cart before the horse right now by trying to make a console without even having anything proprietary.
Exactly. Like Atari. Yeah, you know. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Avidan?
No, I was gonna say I want to move on to the last because we actually are going into the 2-hour mark.
I know. This is fully.
This is good, Avidan. This is good.
What the hell?
Fun. And it's Friday night.
Okay, listen.
I'm fine.
It's my fault. It's my fault.
I didn't ask you guys beforehand, you know, so I try to respect you guys' time. That's the only reason why I'm like that. I try to respect everyone's time. If I say an hour, hour and a half,
3-hour special.
If I say an hour to an hour and a half, I want to make sure I honor that. But if you guys listen,
I say we ride this train till the wheels fall off, my man.
Yeah, until we just.
Yeah, it's not like we all have like work or school or something in the morning. It's Friday night.
Yeah,
I have work, but I don't care.
Late tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's your fault, partly too. I will say that. I will say that for once. I'm just joking, by the way. But I do want to get into questions and answers, and we can have our free answers around. Cause we're having a lot of fun tonight. Dragon Gamer asked a question way earlier in the stream, and I actually took it down.
Yeah.
Dragon Gamer said, Nintendo trademark GameCube. Do you think they will show GameCube Mine or GameCube games on Switch?
I'm really hoping so. I was a big fan of my GameCube. I took a break from gaming for a while, and GameCube is what I came back into, and I loved my GameCube.
Okay, before we get into that, I'm going to say this. If we're going to keep this rolling, everybody in the chat get one more person that you know to come in the stream.
We better see 40 people in the stream.
If you
no,
guys...
it's the whole triangle effect. Like, if you invite 3 people, and then they invite 3 people, and then they invite 3 people, we got 1,000 people in here before we know it.
Avidan starting his own pyramid scheme in this.
If you bring one more person with you, if you want us to keep going, we'll keep it going. We can have fun, but bring more people with you.
Let me see if I can get any of my buddies to tweet this out.
Here's the thing, as far as GameCube coming to the Switch, I think it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's 1,000% going to be happening. They filed 100%. The trademarks for the GameCube games. They filed the trademarks for getting them set up, and they already said they're bringing the GameCube adapter to work with the Switch when Smash Brothers comes out. So you can't tell me that they're not thinking that they're going to have GameCube compatibility when this comes out. And I mean, they got the Pro controller, they got everything that works with it.
They even got the adapter working for the Switch now. The GameCube adapter for the controller for Smash. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So they're absolutely going to have 100% GameCube games come. And I think, honestly, that's part of the reason why Luigi's Mansion is getting a re-release from GameCube onto the 3DS. Instead of making a new Luigi's Mansion for the Switch, they're waiting for when Luigi's Mansion can be ported to the Switch from GameCube, and then people play that, and then maybe a year later they'll make a sequel for it.
Nah, I think they're already making a Luigi's Mansion for the Switch, in my opinion. I mean, I have no proof, but that's what I think. It's not going to be
announced. No, maybe they are, but it's not going to be announced until 6 to 8 months after the GameCube comes out with the original Luigi's Mansion as part of the package with their online service.
I'm just waiting for this online service, what they're going to do, because honestly, as I've been saying over and over again, what we have now is just a free trial version.
Right.
So it's like anyone who used software, Rax, I remember you said you used to do music before. You used to use FL Studio before?
Yeah, I know all about that Fruity Loops, bro.
Okay, so you could you know exactly where I'm about to go with this. With Fruity Loops, you remember with the free version, you couldn't save your files.
Yeah.
A basic function like saving your work, you couldn't do in the free trial. That's super basic. So I linking that to Nintendo Switch. A basic function like native voice chat is not there on the free trial. That's the way I see it, honestly. I feel as though there's going to be more to reveal at the full release when you're actually paying for the service.
Yeah, and I agree with that because of Fortnite. I mean, look 100%. At Fortnite. That
Splatoon 2 even.
And that has native voice chat. But I mean, it's just for that game. Yeah, it's only local. But if you look at Fortnite though, that has native voice chat in. I mean, it's in the game only, but you can do voice chat through the system. I think we're gonna see native voice chat in the future after the online releases in September. And that's just my opinion, just because of Fortnite. Because why would Nintendo do Fortnite?
Exactly. Why would you give a third-party company more room on your console than your first parties?
Exactly.
That makes no sense.
Can someone explain to me how the hell they have this contraption with wires for Splatoon 2 for voice chat when Fortnite is able to do this? Like, that's just embarrassing.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Nintendo has always been about innovation. So Nintendo already planned to do the whole wired situation from jump. So in their free trial, this is their time to test it out. Again, like I show people in my video, it's like when you got the Nintendo Switch app, they actually have a feedback option to say, hey, what don't you like or what do you like about the console? I mean, about the online service. I can almost guarantee most people did not use that feedback service. So how can they truly track data on what's wrong with this service? Or what can they fix? They're not going to search everyone's YouTube or everyone's Twitter accounts or everyone's Facebook posts to see what is wrong with this. No, that's not feasible. They are going to look at the data. and there's very little data speaking against what they have. That's why I
Well,
made that.
I think what the data they're going to look at is what I found out earlier today. They have a lot more data than you think they have. First off, like when they came out with today saying that people use the Switch docked equally with undocked. And
yeah.
I'm like, well, hold up. Let me finish this. How the hell do you know when it's docked and when it's not? Who gave you that information? Do we must click yes, we send this data to you, and I just don't notice that we do that. But they have the data of how often people are linking their phones up to the service and using it with Splatoon 2, and can compare that to what Xbox and PlayStation 2 has, and says, okay, 1% compared to 100% have used this compared to them. Maybe we need to look at this differently, and that's the data they're going to use.
Okay. They could also look at Twitter, you know.
And it's like but the information is so scattered, and it's like I misspoke. Maybe I misspoke what this guy. I just saw something in the chat. This guy, but maybe I misspoke. What I meant to say is the best method of tracking data. I'm not gonna say they don't have data. I don't make it seem like I'm saying that. But one of the best ways of tracking data is something that you put on the app itself. That's how apps improve. So I get what you're saying. It's just I feel as though we're taking a lot for granted, or we're judging the entire service in its free trial. I can understand we're paying service and then we're limited towards these things, but again, Nintendo with the wire, to answer your question, Smash, the reason why they had the wired contraptions because the Nintendo Switch doesn't have any headphone jacks anywhere but the Switch itself.
And it doesn't have Bluetooth?
It has Bluetooth, yeah.
Yes, but somebody has proven that it taxes a lot on the Switch to have a game running and the Bluetooth running.
Yeah, there's different types of the Bluetooth and everything that goes into it. I forgot. Your husband, your husband will know the difference between the two Bluetooths, which makes it which is better. But the Switch for itself, it's between the wire connection. It's not really the best. Now they do have wireless Bluetooth headphones you can use when it's docked. That's what they were focusing on. The wire contraption is mainly for when you're on the go. When you're undocked. But when you're docked, you can use wireless headphones already. Which is something that people don't want to say. In fact, I can even hook up my mic to my Switch.
And it works, actually.
And it works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can do with the Switch that is not really spoken about, but yeah.
I just think, I thought that they would incorporate native voice chat before Fortnite, but after seeing Fortnite do it, it's just made me convinced, to be honest, that they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
voice
I
chat.
agree.
Dude, are you okay with it? It seems like you're stuck in an earthquake.
Huh?
Everything is like shaking when he speaks.
Me?
No, George.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
George does not have the sturdiest of desks.
My desk is very wobbly.
It looks like everything in the background's shaking too. I'm just like, is he?
I live in
California.
Yeah, that's it.
Going through it.
I'm in California too, and nothing's moving behind me.
Oh, there's definitely things moving behind you. I just think you're too smashed, JT.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys, I will be back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Go be a mom.
Go be a mom.
Guys, I gotta get going because my wife needs my help with nighttime with the kids.
No problem. We held you a lot longer than usual, so.
No. I held you guys a lot longer. I was the one doing all the talking. I apologize.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I did too.
So you know what? Why don't we just call it a night here? We answered all the questions. And we even took one Q&A, so we're gonna just call it a night here. We're at the 2-hour mark. We did well. This was fun. Thank you, Smash. Thank you, Mama Mercy. Thank you, George. Thank you, Rax, for being on the show. Next time, I'm gonna be more mindful. I'm gonna just have lesser topics, and we're gonna just go ahead.
No, Avidan's like, next time I'm just not gonna invite Mama and Smash, and we should be good.
But
I mean, he should know better with me.
Yeah, he should know better.
Yeah, Avidan, you should have known, bro.
but I'm a black female. I got shit to say.
I'm a.
So, well, I'm gonna go ahead and.
I'm from Boston. I just talk a lot.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and do. I'm gonna get everyone give their room for shout out your channel. Go ahead. D-Dub, yes, I will be streaming after this. Go ahead and give out your channel.
It's not gonna get in trouble.
What you guys do, and to add some flavor to it, give something new about your channel and something that you're working on that you think that they will be interested in. So let's start with Smash, because Smash is always working on something dope.
All right, well, I am working on, actually, a fun fact. I'm going to post my channel link.
I'm about to do that right now for you. I got you covered.
Let me see. What do I got? I got a couple collabs I'm doing right now. I'm also focused on, I'm going to be starting a Patreon pretty soon. And I know people who are
awesome.
Meeting me for the first time here are like a JHC. But I'm starting a Patreon. I've been doing this for a long time, and if I want to keep doing this, I need to start making some money out of it, because 8 hours I put into each video, and YouTube is not paying the bills. So got a good Patreon tiers. I'm going to be helping people grow their channels, doing some private one-on-one hour or 2 hour long sessions with them if they're interested. I do channel helps and stuff like that. But outside of that, just going to be focused on some news topics and going from there.
To piggyback, and guys, this is Smashing is not telling me to do this. I'm really doing this on my own. Smash is somebody who's going to push you to be objective with yourself. He's not going to lie to you. He's not going to pull no punches. He's going to be honest with you. And you take it or leave it. He helped me with my channel. I don't listen to everything he told me. He knows that. He said, I don't listen, but at the same time, there's a respect factor there. He is somebody who cares about your growth, and he looks forward down the line.
Well, I'll be real with you too. Like I saw you have it on the second I saw you. I'm like, this guy's got something, and not everybody has it, and I think that's kind of the cold reality of YouTube is coming to the realization of maybe I don't have it. That doesn't mean you can't have it in the future, but damn, you got to put some work into it, because I didn't have it when I first started. You watch some of my first videos, you'd be like, holy shit, this guy's embarrassingly bad. But I realized that about myself. I realized that I needed to get better. And I saw you when you first got started, and I'm like, you were miles beyond where I was when you first started. So I knew you had something special when I first saw you.
I appreciate that. We'll talk more after that, because I don't want to waste too much of your time. Rax, go ahead and shout out your channel too. What you got going on?
My channel is the same channel that I mentioned before. It's called Rax the Great. Don't waste your time. It's really not that good. Next person, please.
Well, his channel is right there in the chat, so you guys can check him out. He did an awesome vlog about too many games. Check it out.
Let me say one thing about Rax, because he clearly can't say nice things about himself. I highlighted Rax as one of my top 3 up-and-coming channels a long time ago. I saw this guy and I was like, this guy's got something special too. And I feel like Avidan and Rax are 2 of the up-and-coming quality YouTubers out there, and they're on this panel together. And people hearing me talk right now are probably like, oh man, Smash probably just thinks everyone's up and coming. I'm like, no, it's just, ironically, you 2 are in this chat, and you 2 are 2 people I know very well and I respect highly. So people definitely check out Rax the Great if you're not familiar with
Please
him.
do. He's really
I just don't like to take myself too serious and be like, well guys, I do a vlog every 2-5 days.
Let me tell you my schedule.
Like, I talk about things that I'm passionate about when I have time. I run a video game store, and I do this in my free time now. Like, when I had, there was a gap in time where I was doing it like completely, almost like every day. I was either streaming or putting up a new video. I like to talk about things that I'm passionate about. I don't like to talk about every single topic that drops. You know, like if you like to share the same things that you have in common with me, like I like things like Castlevania, fighting games, and just being an all-around goofball. So if you like,
you a butt whooping in Street Fighter.
Avidan, that's not gonna happen, man. Please stop. We need to come back to reality. We're talking about my channel here. Shit.
Listen, Long Island Retro.
Oh, you're gonna get spanked.
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring the baby wipes, and we're gonna spank you. We're gonna send you home nice and clean.
Y'all gonna see a vlog about this. Y'all will see a vlog about this.
Yeah. All right. I got you.
Yeah. All right.
Next channel, please.
George, go ahead and shout out your channel.
Hi guys. I'm just like a streamer channel. I'm not like these guys who do like actual edited content because that's really too hard for me. But I recently hit 100 subscribers.
Congratulations.
Thank you guys. And you know, what I'm trying to do new is I'm gonna get a better desk because Rax pointed out to me I have a very unstable desk. So
Dude, I pointed it out to you multiple times.
It's got some bounce.
It's got some bounce. I need a better desk.
Hydraulics.
But basically, what I'm playing through right now is Doki Doki Literature Club. A lot of people seem to like that game, so I'm enjoying it. I got to a very interesting part in the game. It really got me emotional. It's a very great game to play, and I'm trying to focus on playing games that my audience wants me to play. So they want me to play Undertale next. I never played that game before, so I'm really
Great game.
Good luck.
I need to check out Undertale now.
Yeah, I got to play that on my stream. So, you know, I'm just taking fan suggestions and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much my channel. And let me plug it in the
I already plugged it in for you.
Thanks, man.
Plugging in everyone's channel as they speak so people, you know, can follow. And last but not least, Mama Mercy, go ahead.
Hey-o.
Hey guys, I'm Mama Mercy. Like George, I'm a streaming channel. I've been kind of MIA the last 2 weeks because I've got some health issues going on. But if you want a girl and a mom's and whatever I am opinion about video games and listen to me chat with my friends, like George comes on my streams and stuff like that. I play video games and not play games well when my fans get to pick them for me, like when they pick Donkey Kong. I did not do well with that game. But I have a lot of fun, and I'm really goofy, and I'm upbeat and happy person, and you can become one of my munchkins. And the new thing I'm going to be doing is I'm thinking about maybe start making some edited videos. My husband's going to edit my videos for you, or for me, and I'm going to start talking about things I'm really passionate about that's going on in mostly the gaming world.
Nice.
We're going to call it Mama Rants.
Mama
the first
how I found Mama Mercy's
and because you guys are all here, you guys have been so wonderful. You guys will hear what my first rant about. I'm really irritated with Blizzard and Overwatch that we have a hamster and a hamster ball, but we don't got a black girl in Overwatch yet.
See, I was about to play Overwatch now.
No, go ahead. No, I've been playing Overwatch all day. I'm just saying. We need, you know,
guilty.
we need us an African American female in there. That's all I'm saying. We have a girl who looks like an alien, but we don't got a black girl.
Wait a second. What about Sombra?
Sombra's Hispanic. She's Mexican.
Oh. I
know. It's really confusing with her.
Oh.
I thought she was a mixed girl when she first came out, but no, she's Mexican.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I was disappointed too. The only people we have Avidan is Lucio, who's half black, half Brazilian, and Doomfist. That's all we got.
And not Reaper, right? No.
Nope, not Reaper.
Listen,
Reaper is Latino American.
Listen, I'm looking at all these characters. What about I forgot that stupid girl's name. The one who could make all the robots, all the laser beam robots.
Effie made Orisa, but that's still not having a black girl in the game. I cannot go in the game, click on X character, and play as a black girl. There is a difference.
No, it wasn't her. She makes her new ult is like a giant wall.
Sombra? She's Indian.
Not Sombra.
Not Sombra. Symmetra. She's Indian. Like from India, Indian.
Oh. See, you know the lore better than I do, so there you go. I just revealed to you guys I do not know the lore that much for these games.
And then just to fix this right now, Anna and Farah are Egyptian. And people from Egypt see themselves as Middle Eastern, so no, they are not black girls. That is different. I did research on that. I actually did legit
right.
research on that.
No,
And people
you're
from
right.
Egypt see themselves as Middle Eastern, not black.
I could add to that, but that'll make the conversation go way left. We can talk about that off stream. So,
well, I mean, your family's actually from Africa, right? So you may know something different than I do. As far as
my wife's
Yeah,
on my
your
wife's
wife?
side.
you and me can talk about that privately at some time, or we'll do a different podcast about it.
Yeah, definitely.
But as far as I understand from the research that I could do, Farah and Anna would not be considered black women. They would be considered Middle Eastern women.
Okay. Well, that is everybody. Mama Mercy, you go ahead. If you like all of my guests on here, give each and every one of them a sub. Each and every one of them are awesome. This was an incredible Chillcast. It was
Also,
still chill. In the midst of all this was still chill.
Yeah.
Also,
definitely.
keep helping Avidan grow. We're at 621 now. Last time I was on here, we weren't even at 5 yet. Like, we're growing. Avidan's growing.
Nice,
Appreciate you
Evan.
guys. Appreciate
job,
you guys. All of you guys help a lot. So thank
Thanks,
you guys for coming through. Everyone in the chat, thank you guys for coming by. We'll see you guys next time. Oh, I should say this now. Next week, I will not be streaming. It's my wife's birthday next Friday, so I definitely will not be streaming.
Nice.
So, but the following week and that weekend, I'm going to New York that weekend, so I won't be streaming throughout the weekend. Following week, I'll have the podcast, but I won't be streaming because I have to go across the bridge in Maryland because I'm a best man at a wedding. I have to go get fitted for my tux. So.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
I want pictures of that. I want pictures of Avidan in a tux. Like,
No.
dude, dude,
Scruffy.
you're gonna be slaying. Don't even try. Don't even try. You're gonna be killing it.
You guys streaming that tux.
Dude, you're gonna be looking fresh and clean, and dude,
You'll see Mr. Scruff. That's all you'll see.
Dude, I want to see. Maybe I can find your wife. Be like, send me a picture.
Bye, you guys. Thank you guys for coming through. So that's an update for you guys. I'll say it again on Twitter if you missed the live stream. Appreciate all of you. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're watching the replay, and make sure you are sharing this with a friend. This is George, Smash, Mama Mercy, and Rax and Avidan. We are out. Peace.